This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox Newscast. Welcome to the XC Podcast. It's Colteastwood here, and welcome. Holy crap, what a great week it's been. I'm so excited to have you guys here. I'm really excited to have my good buddy. He's right over here. We got Fonz Gaming, who just returned from Los Angeles, just helicoptered out of the riots, and he's here to report on an amazing game showcase. We've got a lot to cover. Those of you who didn't see the stream yesterday, we talked briefly about the showcase, but there's Summer Games Fest. There's so much to cover. Fonz is there for all of it. How are you? Are you awake? Are you alive?
Dude, I'm good. I could say I was jet lagged, but I'm really not because I drove, but it was about 5.5 hours. I had a blast, man. It was amazing. And I'm not saying the showcase itself was all that amazing. I thought it was good, solid, but man, what a good time. What a good time to be with the community. And that's what it's all about, really, is getting time to go down there and hang out with people that just have a lot of positive vibes, man. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, so let's start off. Normally, I'd like kind of break the ice and we can talk about what we're playing, but everyone's been in devour mode for all the games news. And the last thing that happened would be Friday's Summer Games Fest, like you said. Give us a little bit of tell us about the vibe there, because you're there in person, and when we could talk about what were the standout things briefly with the showcase or Game Fest.
Shout out to BT Maverick. He's in the chat right now. That's why I'm shouting him out. I met him live there. I mean, in person.
Oh, lucky!
It was a lot of fun. He also drove down there from the north side of California. So he had the same amount of drive as I had. I think he had an hour more than me to drive. But anyways, we had a great time. The vibes there were freaking amazing, especially when, I mean, just think about this, Cole. Last time we were going to be there, or last year, we had the whole Xbox Fanfest. They did it. They funded it. They did all that stuff. This year, it was a community-funded thing. Shout out to Ben Kenobi, Alex Wagerman. Everybody knows him as Wagerman. You've got Dante, Sean, Ainsley Bowden, Hargeet Chani, my co-host, who was there helping fund this thing, run this thing. And, you know, when I heard about this, I was like, yeah, that's a great idea to do this. But, man, maybe it's not going to be the same. I canceled my trip, you know, my hotel and everything. I wasn't going to do it once it was canceled. You know, they canceled the FanFest. But then people like you, my wife, and Hargeet was putting in my ear saying, you know, like, what you should go. Like, what do you get out of this? I remember Hargeet asking me that question. He goes, what do you like best about FanFest? And when that really sunk in for me, it was the community. The community is why I like FanFest. I like going there and hanging out with all these good people. And when I thought of that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. And I did, and it was just a lot of fun. As soon as I got there Friday, so I was able to do the Summer Games Fest. Shout out to Hargeet yet again. He had an extra ticket, so he was just like, it's just lying around. You can come to the Keeley Summer Game Fest. And last year, you remember, it wasn't very good. This year, it was actually really solid.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great show, especially the first half. The first half was really good. Then it kind of puttered out a bit.
Yeah.
And then came back up on an upswing at the very end with Resident Evil 9. And everybody just lost their stuff. So, dude. And then, of course, Saturday rolls around. I didn't have much to do Saturday. There was this little thing going on. You see it here, IGN Live, that was going on. I went to it last year. We went to it last year. I think it was a bit worse this year. It was a bit more crowded, and they did some people dirty, Colt. Some of our
Yeah.
good friends in the community, like Asante, Mr. Boomstick, they wouldn't let them in because they had bags with them. Now, these are the same bags they took in last year. The same exact bags. No problem with it. They wouldn't let them do it this year, and they couldn't get in.
I don't know if that's
anyways.
an IGN problem. I noticed like they hire security detail. They hire
thing.
they hire like a company that's there, and they just went through this because I couldn't go because my daughter's graduation was on Friday, and then we had a family and friend party on Saturday, so we skipped out this year. We had a really great time. But even at my daughter's graduation, like this security that's in charge of the building, like they don't know like what the event people want. Their job is just like, you're supposed to make sure nobody goes through this door, and they can be real jerks. I got to give a shout out to Keith Garlington in the chat, who I met in 2019, the first time I went to E3. It's just one of those examples of somebody who you hear about them and you get to meet them in person. And he was so quiet. Like I felt we were like overwhelmed. There's just so many gaming fans around, to just so many people that like the same thing you do when you're at the thing, right, Fonz? And then you're so excited and just buzzed about everything you're going to see at either Showcase or the E3 events or the booths or whatever. What was like the vibe going on? Like there's kind of like a hangout out before you go into Summer Games Fest, before you go in the arena, like everyone's in a line like we did last year. Did you talk to any good people that like the chat would know?
So shout out to Woggerman yet again. Alex, if you're listening, thank you, bud, because I saw him way in the front of the line. And of course, me seeing him, I was like, I'm not going to stand way back here. I'm going to walk way up there with Alex. So I walked up there, met Alex, talked to him a bit. Then the Iron Lords showed up. The Iron Lords came around. You know, people really love the Iron Lords, so everybody starts talking to the Iron Lords. Paris is standing there with a bunch of other people. So I got to, meet everybody there. We all just hung out a bit in the line. And then as soon as they started letting people in, it was time to go into the show. But everybody was excited and happy. But because of last year's show, everybody was kind of just like, I wonder what they're going to show this time, because it wasn't really a great show last year. And I think everybody was pleasantly surprised too. Shout out to Dante, man. Dante was part of that crew that was spearheading this whole situation with the Showcase Sunday. Yeah. So it was great to freaking spend time with him. I remember he was working on all those badges late at night. I was working on all the swag bags. I had music playing. I played his favorite Culture Club, YMCA and all that. He loved it. He was really down for that music.
Magnum, you're such a troll, bro. Gosh. Magnum is the guy you gotta love. You gotta love him. He says the reaction video he did for Final Fantasy was high level cringe or whatever, next level cringe. Man,
that surprised me. I didn't think that there was going to be that much like hype for the games. Seriously, like I know a lot of people couldn't wait for it, but it really surprised me that they reacted that way. So I was shocked, Magnum. I was recording, and I was recording everything. I only uploaded a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But that reaction really surprised me, and I had to put it up. And here's my thing about that, Colt. I talked to you, and I told you this. Who am I to say something is cringe if somebody feels this way about a game or anything within this community? Because, honestly, I don't care how other people want to celebrate and stuff. Why am I going to crap on their joy?
We've got a couple guys in the community that...
Hey, guys, you can't do this. Stop having fun. Like, why am I going to do that?
We got a guy in the community.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, we got a guy in the community I really respect that cried when they announced Final Fantasy or Square Games coming to Xbox, because I'm not a Final Fantasy fan like most people are, but people grew up with that series. Like that, we played the first one on the NES, like back in 87, 88, you and I did, right? I'm sure you did. I played around on, I think I finished that game back in the day, before I even knew what those type of games could be. Yeah, there are people that cry. There are people that cheer and scream. There's dudes like Fonz, you go, too many games, at the event. Like, you have to be there. There's no other way to explain it. That's always a quote. Like, you had to be there. You just don't get it until you're there.
There's always this, and this is what I want to get through. Like, when I talk about community, there is no other community like the Xbox community. I may criticize Xbox themselves for what they do, and I may criticize some fanboys and stuff at times, if they go overboard with stuff. But the community itself, there's nothing like it, man. When you go to these events and you're in that room and you feel that energy is freaking crazy. And when they see a good game coming up on that screen and they all collectively go nuts for something, there's nothing like it, man. It feels good, regardless of what you think about the game or what you think about these people, or you think they're hyping it up too much. It feels good to be among positivity.
I gotta say something on that note that you just brought up, because people have their preconceptions of what you and I are, or Mag, or our buddy Gaz, or whoever, right?
Oh, dude. Yeah, of course.
And, I'm pompous, I'm condescending, I'm a jerk, I'm
negative.
Cringe.
I hate
You're
everything.
negative, right? You're negative,
everything.
or you're too critical about things. And one thing I really got from Fawn's guys, I'm going to say this so you don't, because I think it comes off differently if I say it. Because I talked to you a lot over the weekend. You would check in with me, which I thought was really cool.
Of course, yeah.
Because I was having mass FOMO, even though we were having an excellent weekend.
And I knew you were. That's why I was calling you every now and then, saying, "Hey, this is what's going on today. This is cool. This was my highlight of the day. Whatever." So
yeah, and so people have this preconception that somebody like Fawn's is super negative and doesn't like anything. Well, I always love to point out to my audience and raw public, whenever you are absolutely head over heels in love with a game, because you will not stop talking about how much happiness you're enjoying.
Yeah.
People were coming up to Fonz and saying, "Holy crap, bro, you are so nice in person. You are so funny. You're so happy and excited. Like, you're like just a huge fan of gaming." And Fonz, I'm gonna toot the horn for you. Fonz made a crap ton of friends and continued some great friend relationships because he was there in person. Because you're not just a floating icon on a social media space, right? I know that throughout the year, life can be tough, and I know you've had your difficulties. I've had mine, and you've had some difficult stuff going on this year. And you were like, "I think I'm going to go," and I was like, "Man, you should go." And boy, did you going make such a monumental difference. Like, you had. We're going to talk about the party a little bit later, but it was a bit smaller than what we normally get. But you had a pretty good experience overall.
Yeah, it opened my eyes this time, man. Like last year when we went, I had a great time. It was fantastic. And it's the reason why I wanted to come back again this year. But this year, it was the community. And I'll say this too. It was the fact that I saw not just the community. No, it is the community, because they're part of this community.
Yeah.
People like Aaron Greenberg and Jason Ronald, they didn't have to come to the community-driven event for this showcase. They didn't have to be there, but guess what? They took the time not only to be there, but they took the time to shake each and every one of those community members' hands and talk to them.
Now, were they like 20, 30 minutes on the other side of LA doing their event with PR and with journalists, right?
And they had very little time. Yeah, very little time to do anything. But they came out for the showcase, and they hung out longer than expected because they all had meetings and stuff to go to. They had a lot of media to attend to, but they know what the community means for them. We're the consumers. We're the gamers. We're the community. We're the ones that, buy the whatever they're trying to pitch or whatever. But it was more than that. It's not about Xbox, okay? Don't get me wrong here, because I'm not an Xbox guy per se. I'm more of a community guy. I love the fact that these guys took that time out to do that and opened my eyes. And I finally saw, like, wow, so this is what people talk about all the time when they talk about the Xbox community. It's a different breed. Yeah. And I was just struck by the not only generosity, but the politeness, the everybody just exuded positivity. It was unreal. And they were so appreciative of what was put on there by these gentlemen that decided to spearhead this thing. And me, because I wanted to jump in and help out, which I did. I consider I helped out a lot in this event to get it going, and I just being a part of that made me feel so good that I did something to help out, so this community can keep coming together, and I want to continue that. I want this to continue. Yeah.
Let's talk about all of the famous people, all the popular cool people that you met briefly, and then we'll start talking about the games and everything that is coming and big changes for Xbox.
You mean guys like within YouTube and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, who did you meet that people here be like, hey, I know who that is, or of course I know who that is.
Of course, I finally, I'm not one of those guys who rushes up to people that, I see online or whatever. I finally met Phil this year for the first time. Like I've met him on Party Chat years ago, and I had a long talk with him in Party Chat, but
yeah,
I finally met him face to face. Sarah Bond as well, and wonderful lady, wonderful woman. Then I met like Skill Up was there. Chris Raygun, Dustin from Last Stand Media, those guys. I know some of you are going to be like, oh no, those are PlayStation guys. You can't. You know what though? They are so freaking nice. So freaking nice. I spent about 45 minutes probably talking to Chris Raygun one night. And we were just chopping it up about games we love and games that are coming out this year, what we're excited for, all that good stuff. And I met Ray from Xbox Ready, and he was another really nice guy. And I had I'll say this. I'll be honest. I had a preconceived notion about these people. I did. I thought, man, these guys seem like they're going to be pretentious, unapproachable. Couldn't be further from the truth. Ray was a freaking nice person. Like he was so approachable.
I met Ray
his time
2 years ago.
So
he's
cool.
He's so awesome. He's so nice. Yeah, we hit it off really quickly. And
everybody I met this year was so super nice. Danny Pena, I met him.
Yep.
Awesome guy. His wife, incredible. Met Khalif.
Your arch nemesis you met?
Who?
Paris.
Who? Oh, Paris was my arch nemesis. Yeah. That's what people always try to pit us again. Anyways, Paris was great. So I met him again, but I've met him before. We've talked for a while. So it was a really good time. We all had a great time. And of course we had Danny, Paris, Danny's wife, Rihanna, and Khalif. They did the pre-show Sunday for our showcase, and they did a great job there. So shout out to them for doing that. That was really nice of them to take time and do that. And I don't know if this is going to be. I know we recorded everything, so I believe Ains. Shout out to Ains, by the way. If I didn't mention him earlier, he was one of the guys spearheading this whole thing too, along with Ben Kenobi, Hargeet, Dante, Sean, who am I forgetting? Alex, and also Ray was there from Seasoned Gaming. And Ray is a guy who does a lot of videos and editing and stuff for Seasoned Gaming for Ainsley. And he was there and he set up all the audio equipment, the video cameras, the technical stuff. Like he was that guy. So him and Hargeet did the tech stuff, but shout out to Ray. He put in a lot of work for that. And we kept fist bumping all night, walking by each other, doing stuff. Like we're just sweating our butts off and we're just like, hey, good job, and just had a great time. It's really cool.
The burning question, how does Phil look in person?
Oh, shoot. Why is that a burning question first off? Why is that a burning question?
Everybody wants to know.
A lot of weight, right?
Because he's put in 15 years of absolute toil and struggle with one of the bigger brands in gaming. How does he look in person?
I think the real question stems from not too long ago. It was about a month or so ago. We saw a picture of him and we saw that he lost a lot of weight, but it was like a bad picture of him, right? And he looked like people were questioning whether he was sick or something. He just didn't. The picture was just bad. Phil looks great, man. Phil looks healthy.
He does.
I'll say that. Looks really healthy.
Yeah, I was on this weight loss journey at the end of the year, and it was really good. And then something happened with the holidays and chocolate, and I don't know, kind of went sideways on me. But Yeah, Phil looks really, really good. And everyone's like, well, he looks older. I'm like, yeah, like, everybody's older, but
now he's slim, man. He
looks very so trim.
slim.
I'm like, oh man, that's got to feel great. Yeah. I know he's been working out a lot, but he looks happy. He looks really, really happy. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is, people have this perception, right? We talk about perception with people. They have this perception that Xbox is struggling. And I just think these people that you were talking to, like Sarah and Aaron and Phil, they must be really, really happy with the way Xbox is going right now, because they are killing it. They've got a dozen brand new games just in 2025 alone. They talk about the greatest lineup in Xbox history. This like clears it by a long shot. And then we're like, where's the other games that aren't at the Game Showcase? We're going to talk about, why Game Showcase wasn't a 10 out of 10. You can actually say, Fonz, I'm okay with not seeing Gears or Fable or Undead Labs, State of Decay 3, because you can actually say it, because they've got so many games that they announced coming out, plus the stuff that we saw that's coming out already, and then the stuff that they just announced is coming to 2026. There's no wait for next E3. Like, we're going to talk about that later, but I wanted to see State of Decay. I'll say this last.
Me too, bro.
I wanted to see a couple of those games. But you know what? You really can't be wrong by saying, I want to see those games when they're ready, because they showed us a crap ton of ready stuff now. Like Double Fine's game is ready. All those. Yeah, we're going to get into it. But before we do, I want to talk about Summer Games Fest, and I've got a list of the games I want to run by you. We'll start kind of in the order that I'm looking at on the Game Awards website. But there was kind of a big shocker. The end of the show was Marvel Tokon, a fighting game that has freaking awesome art style. It's only coming to PC and PlayStation, but it's an amazing get for PlayStation to get this awesome veteran fighting studio team.
They money-headed something again. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not a fighting fan, but I can sit back and go, dang, bro, that's impressive, even if I probably wouldn't play a minute of it, because I don't love them like other people do. But really, what do you think about the Marvel Tokon? If I'm saying that,
I think it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not a big fighting game fan anymore. I used to be big time. Like Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition when I was a kid. Oh man, when I was a teen, that was my jam, bro. We put a lot of quarters into that game. But I say people are like, why do you need quarters for a console? No, arcades, people.
It was a long time ago.
There. It's a long time ago, kids. No, seriously. That game looks pretty cool though for what it is. I think they, man, I think it looked good. I think it looked good. That's all I can really say about it. I mean, it's Marvel. It's gonna do well. What are they really gonna? Of course it's gonna do pretty well for a fighting game, especially. I don't know how well fighting games do anymore. When I look up games that they've done recently in the past, like Guilty Gear and stuff like that. They've sold probably close to 3 million of that. The last Guilty Gear, I think, when I checked.
That's probably a good money maker, though.
A lot, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe some sell more. I'm not sure.
That's probably still a good money maker. I mean, these games
good fan
probably
service. Yeah. Anytime you bring out a Marvel something, it's good fan service right away, because Marvel is a brand that just people flock to. So,
I would rather. I love Marvel Rivals. Like I played it for a couple of nights and had an absolute...
I tried it. It was okay. It's like what do you call it?
Overwatch. I played it with Red Wolf, DeMarco, and Assassin one night, and I'm not really into that thing, but we played for like 3 hours, and I had an absolute freaking amazing time playing that game. So I have a respect for that, even though I don't play it much. It just makes me want, when I look at I'm looking over here at the thumbnail of it. It makes me want an action adventure, like linear or open world game in that art style that Marvel Tokon is using, or Marvel Rivals, that like quasi anime Marvel mashup. Like, it's just a cool looking thing. The other game that really impressed me, I'm going to make a video about some of these games, is Mortal Shell 2. And I might have to play this for just a second to kind of remind myself. I think it was like a Souls-like game. I don't know if you remember it. I mean, you were there. It was that dark and gritty
Souls-like game.
Yeah, like you're stabbing like a worm, and it's very
I forgot the name of that, but I remember it because It's Mortar. Yeah. I
And you have
definitely
like a
want to play that
shotgun.
game.
Yeah.
I'm a big Souls-like fan. You know, I like these types of games. That one spoke to me as well. I'm looking forward to trying that game out. I think that Mortal Shells. Who's the developer for that one? Is it? I'm looking it up now. Who is it?
I'm getting to it.
Dev team. Who is it?
PlayStack.
PlayStack.
Let me
Where are
know,
they
audience,
don't
how
know.
you feel about one of the problems with running this show, X&C Podcast, is some of the news will drop like on a Thursday or Friday, and by Monday it can feel very, very, very old. So if you guys want us to speed through the Summer Games Fest games, I'm going to highlight the coolest things. But if you feel like you want us to kind of speed through that, kind of let us know in the chat. But we're going to go through these fairly quickly. I'm not going to cover all of them.
Cold Symmetry is the dev team that makes it.
Okay.
PlayStack is the publisher.
Okay, thank you. All right, what else we got?
So I don't know anything that they've done besides Mortal Shell, so I'm not too familiar with their games, but it does look good. It does look good to me. I do want to play that game.
There's another game that everybody was really excited about, but we saw literally none of it. I think it might be an action RTS or something. It's called Chronicles Medieval World, and it had this amazing cinematic, but the only gameplay was your horse coming up over a hill of a battlefield, and people are slightly excited about that. At least people were talking about it, but until you see something, you kind of have to hold on that one. What do you think of this mouse PI for hire? We've seen it a couple times. I thought I'd bring it up because
I thought that
you're weird when it comes to quirky games. You can be very, very, very sketchy on if you're going to like it or not.
Sometimes, when they show games that look like this old art style from back, even before our time, okay? And we're ancient, you and I.
Yeah.
But that art style, like Cuphead and things like that, I loved Cuphead. I played through Cuphead, and I had a great time with that. So it definitely, the art style speaks to me. I love the art style. So, of course, I'd want to see more of this. But, yeah, that art style is really what I like about that game. It just looks freaking cool, dude. Looks cool.
They have Troy Baker voicing the main character. Are you going to boycott it because he voices everybody these days?
No, I freaking love Troy Baker as a voice actor.
I know,
respect
I do
him
too.
so much. Look, I've been trying to get into voice acting and stuff for years now. And I've only done a couple of small projects, but he's definitely one of those guys that I look up to in the industry. I mean, you have to if you're looking to get into that, because that man knows his stuff and he's freaking amazing at what he does. Look what he did with Indiana Jones. Holy crap, does he sound like Indy? He's just he's an amazing talent, man.
Yes.
He's just unbelievable. Boycott. Somebody said boycott Baker. Yeah. Hashtag boycott Baker. Yeah.
I know. He's in everything, but he plays some of my favorite characters. He's such a talent, man. Red Wolf Renegade, thank you so much for the $5 super. He goes, you absolutely have to give us your thoughts on why Starfield wasn't shown. I think they want everything to be perfect before showing anything new. I could jump into that now because that's kind of why wasn't something at the show. And I've been thinking about that too, Red. I've been thinking about, we totally thought that Starborn DLC would be at this event and that they would announce it for PlayStation at the end of the year. And then I thought, yeah, you're right. Red's right. It's probably not ready to be shown. So I'm guessing sometime in like August or maybe July, we're going to get an 8-minute video doc from Bethesda's YouTube channel. And the creative community manager will sit with Todd in that office and say, tell us about Starborn DLC. And it's like, oh, we're so excited. It just works. And it'll be like one of those great moments. I think there's going to be some nuggets there that somebody like Red Wolf and I, who still play Starfield, like I can't stop playing it, that will really enjoy. But maybe, just maybe, Bethesda decided not to put out Starborn this year. They're going to give that, have their side team just really work on improving everything and the DLC. And maybe Starfield have a little bit of a mini, microscopic, Cyberpunk 2.0 moment. But that's really dreaming in the clouds. So I think maybe it just wasn't ready, and we'll get to see it a little bit later, Red. But I appreciate your super. And I'm always thinking about
because that's the only thing you hear in the game. That's it.
It's the only thing
over and over. You're running around that game for like 200 hours. All you hear is and you're just like, okay, can they play something else finally? And it never happens. You're praying. You go into a cave and you hear, and
you have like your little space walk. Okay, I got it already.
I will take Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper at this point. Just play anything else. But they don't.
Oh, I know. Red and I talk about that all the time because the big confession, we listened to a Spotify playlist that he cultivated. I turned the music down to like 20, so every once in a while I hear. But I'm listening to like really cool, like ethereal music. I've added like interstellar music in. I'll walk around with interstellar music.
That would be cool.
It's amazing.
Would be really cool. Interstellar.
I love Enon Zur, but I think maybe, well, Enon should have like really tried to channel his Jeremy Soule, sci-fi Jeremy Soule.
Yeah,
like, I want to do what I do in Fallout, but a little bit of what they, an epic.
In the interviews, you think he's like, hi, I'm Enon Zur, and I made the music for Starfield, and it's so epic and great. You made one song, sir. You made one song, and it's epic.
Yeah, Vangelis.
But it's one song.
The game adaptation newscast said Vangelis would. That's how I pronounce his name ever since I've known about who he was. But Vangelis would be amazing, and I often listen to the original Blade Runner soundtrack and the 2049 soundtrack.
I would have taken ZZ Top in the game, bro. Like anything. Just something, man.
Yeah, I'll take Suzanne Vega or something, or what's her name from the Bangles? Susanna Hoffs. Yeah, we'll take some girl rock while we play Starfield.
I'll take her. Yeah.
So I got to ask. This is a great one to ask Fonz about because I know he doesn't like this game, but kind of the game of the show for Summer Games Fest was Atomic Heart 2, and I kind of like this game.
But I don't like the game. What are you talking about? I thought Atomic Heart was decent, but it had issues for me I couldn't stick with it.
Yeah, I finished it, but it definitely had some issues. But did the Atomic Heart 2 trailer kind of turn your attention a little bit?
It did. It made me want to try part 2. Hopefully it's not, as messed up as the first one was here and there. Like, hopefully the performance is good. Hopefully it's a little less clunky and some. I just hope it's better. It looks really good though. Some of the stuff that they showed within that trailer, I was like blown away by. I was like, okay, cool. And the one thing that they had going with that trailer is that it was a fun trailer. It was just fun.
Yeah, and, very cool.
That's always good.
You get that BioShock, you get that a little bit of that Fallout, you get some of that Metro or Stalker, like a whole bunch of different vibes in it.
Yep.
Yeah, Keith says I liked Atomic Heart, but fell off of it. Yeah, it got frustrating. It just got really frustrating.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they've heard that. So when I see the trailer for 2, I get really excited. I think, yeah, they can make some cool.
It looks better, cool bro. Books. See, anytime you have a game that comes out and it's pretty decent, and this is their first game or whatever, you always look for that sophomore outing from them.
Yeah.
Okay. This is their sophomore outing. It's the same thing I said with Sony Bend when it was the Days Gone. I was like, Days Gone was so good to me, but it could have been better. I think they'll get it on their sophomore outing. Did they get that? No.
Dude, 2 would have been
no more Days Gone. It
2 would have been an easy 85, 88. Yeah. Like, even the remaster scored that high almost. Here's a curveball before I go to the next Summer Games Fest game. We were talking about this before the show went up. Fonz and I are on the show. Fonz goes, "Hey, Colt, Mindseye releases tomorrow." And I'm like, "What?" Let's talk about Mindseye because it comes out at like 10 on the West Coast, around noon on the East Coast tomorrow. So Metacritic won't roll in until midday or early day if you're in the States.
Wait! It drops at 10 a.m.
I think so. I that blue number was looking it up. I was talking to her as well.
Okay.
My wife and I were talking to that.
So it's going to come out before reviews drop. How does that work? That's not a good sign,
I think that's what I'm saying. Reviews will probably drop at launch, which is a telltale sign for most games. So Fonz, what's your number prediction? And if you get it right, if your number is spot on, and I scrub back the video, I will buy you the game on PC.
Okay, but why would you buy it if I say my number is 58?
Well, I mean, if you get if you make a prediction, you're spot on the number. You know, like
dude,
even in up into an hour of when we start checking, I will buy you the game on PC and then make you suffer through it.
BT Mavericks great. It says between 58 and 100. Yeah, somewhere between there.
So
Look,
write in the chat, guys, while Fonz thinks about it.
Can I go with
No.
64? I'm going with 64.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to land. That's what I'm going to stick with. 64.
I'm going to go with 68.
I hope it's a 70 or more. I hope, because if it is, I will get the game.
Fonz, we have to expose ourselves, right? We have a Metacritic purchase threshold, like personally ingrained in our hearts, right? And people they pretend like they don't, right? When you're going to shell out 60, 70 bucks or whatever for a game, there's a number that's like you have it. And people say Metacritic doesn't matter, but there is a number. And I think Fonz and I both said, if it's a 70 or higher, we'll just go ahead and pay for it and give it the old college try, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's. I want to like the game just because there's a lot to it that the style of game that it is, I really like.
Yep.
But it also looks kind of dated in some ways, and everything we're hearing behind the scenes with the performance doesn't sound good. And then when the two executives decided to quit before it even launched, hey, we're gone, bye, our time is done here. Yeah, there was 2 executives there. And I'm like, that's not a good sign. But if it hits that 70, and it's funny that we're holding to that
I know we're frauds.
Score. Like 70, we may try it.
It's partially because you and I, we want the game to be good. Like I would never.
We want a game like that. That's
we
want to.
We want to enjoy it, right?
Like
so we're kind of lowering our standard. Like if it's at least this, I will pay the money, and I will try to like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've already got Stellar Blade on deck on PC, so that's already there. Yeah. But if Mindseye's a 70, I'm going to jump into it.
Fahim says a solid 80. Yeah.
Wow. I hope so, Fahim.
Yeah,
that would be really nice. What if they're right? What if the Mindseye developers were saying it was all bought and paid for, all these negative reviews and previews and all this stuff? What if they're right? What if Rockstar did pay for all this and all this negativity, and then it comes out and it's a 95, Colt?
It's not uncommon for a game
95.
and the user reviews to be so far removed. If you're watching the show and you guys are having a good time, Fonz and I are over here sweating our faces off, hoping you guys are having a good time because you're here, like you're part of the show. And big shout out to Great Games Talk Live as well.
Last night I finally freaking had 8 hours sleep when I got home. But before that, this whole weekend, I probably got about 8 total. This weekend.
That's the tough part about being there.
The night of the showcase. The night of the showcase, because we were doing everything till well after midnight, came back at 5:30 in the morning. I only got 3 hours of sleep that night, and it was rough.
Yes,
but that's why my voice is still not.
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna call Fonz to chat with about everything that's going on while he drove the long drive home, and he was like MIA. And he called me when it was dark at the end of the night. He was like, "Bro, I pulled off into a rest stop and slept in the backseat of my car for 3 hours." I was going to say, if you guys are enjoying the show, hit the like button and show your support for Fonz and I as we talk about. We're gonna race through the rest of Summer Games Fest. I want to get into Xbox
Sean, don't
Game
you put
Showcase.
that devil on me, Sean Labrie. Oh. He says Fonz Gaming, no COVID this time around.
Was
Maybe
it
next
COVID?
year. I didn't know. Yes, it was. Freaking John Clark gave everybody COVID last year, except for you, Colt.
My wife and I did not get sick.
Everybody else got sick.
And it can't be hand sanitizer. Like every once in a while, it's like, here, hand sanitizer to me. And I'm like, whatever. Because I heard you have to use like a whole bottle of it.
Yes, I didn't stutter. John
I didn't lick
Clark
anybody.
Of Xbox era gave everybody COVID last year. Thank you, John.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no, we call it the Xbox era flu. That's right. It was the Xbox era flu.
Yeah, at the end of one of the nights, I took an Uber back to the place with him and his girlfriend. And he's like, "You sit up front, mate. I'm really sick." I'm like, "What?" And yeah. Okay, let me get back to Summer Games Fest.
Okay, I'm
Real
sorry for
quick.
derailing the show.
Real quick.
I had to play Mag for a second there because I know he does that at times.
Yeah, and Mag will be joining us if he can. He's on his way home from a trip. Dune Awakening looks kind of spooky. Like, I don't want to talk about it too long, but what are your expectations for Dune Awakening? We got another trailer there. I shouldn't even brought it up.
I don't care for it whatsoever. I don't. I just don't. And it's bad, but one of my reasonings for it is that, man, that world looks so dreary and just like not fun. Just the whole desert landscape. It's just
and it doesn't have like any of the cool factor that the second movie in Dune has. Dune, when I look at it, there's a whole
and I
bunch
say that, and I love Mad Max. Mad Max was like set in a desert setting, and it just looked depressing. And
because Mad Max was
so
one of the most underrated games of last generation.
It really was.
Fonts. We loved
one of the best combat. Honestly, it's my favorite Arkham style combat game. Mad Max.
It's so
it's
good.
just
That
brutal,
camera shake, bro. We need that to come back. We don't get games like that anymore.
Yes, we do. Somebody this weekend said to me, "Oh, they should make a Batman game." I forgot who it was.
Yeah,
but he said they should make a Batman game, first person, and have the melee combat from Indiana Jones. And I'm like, no, immediately no.
I mean, you could do that in VR.
Immediately no.
You already have that in a VR game.
If you have a Batman game, you make it with that Arkham style combat. That's it. That's all I want from that. Like,
I want to see Batman's butt. That's all that matters. Third person.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I want to see it.
That sounds nice, though. All right. I'm with it.
Swear to me. Swear to me.
What are you talking about? Look at my bum.
There's a game called Wu-Tang Clan that's coming out.
Oh, Wu-Tang Clan. Oh, Mag's here.
Oh, bro, let's bring him in. Hold on.
Yes, let's do a shifteroo.
Let's do a shifter-rooney. There we go. Oh, look at it. It landed in the right place. I did my homework.
Oh, look at that.
What's up, Mag?
Microphone check. How does it sound?
Dude, it sounds great. Mag, we're talking about the Wu-Tang Clan game. Ain't nothing to F with.
Wu-Tang Clan.
This was supposed to be a Wu-Tang Clan. This was supposed to be an Xbox game. Jez Corden reported on it. Apparently, Xbox must have dropped it or something, but do you give a crap about this Wu-Tang Clan game? Hey, I said it right.
Didn't we just say on the last show? By the way, hi, Fonz. How's it going, chat? How's everybody? How's everybody up? I literally I ran in the door from being away on business, and I changed my shirt, grabbed a glass of water, and came and like literally went online immediately. So like,
are you wearing your own merch? You slime bag?
Yeah, because the shirt was right there on the dresser. So I'm like, let me put it on. The Mag Show,
Love
right
it.
there, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, hi everybody in the chat. Listen, the Wu-Tang Clan. Remember when we did the show right before the showcase? We literally said this game is not coming.
We said it was canceled. Yeah.
We're like, it's canceled. Forget it. It ain't coming. We're like, this ain't coming. And all of a sudden, I hear the RZA, and I'm like, why is the RZA talking? And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh, the Wu-Tang game is coming.
So let me ask you something, Mag.
Sure.
Did that cancellation come from your source?
No,
just a question.
We just guessed because we hadn't heard anything about it for like a year and a half, right? So we're just like, well, I guess this is just not happening. I don't know. So we just figured it wasn't happening at all. It was just us speculating, but no, nobody told me anything.
Yeah, I heard from someone that it was no longer, like it must have been canceled or something. So there must have been some type of, and I'm not an insider, so there must have been something that someone heard that Xbox is no longer was in charge of it. So there was no more updates from whoever that source was, but it was pretty funny. We're breaking. I'm running through the Summer Games Fest stuff so we can talk about Showcase, which I know you're itching to talk about as well, Meg. So I'm going to run through just the. There's probably only a couple left of these super highlights. There might. Yeah, there's just one more.
I think Mag just wants to know what Jeff Keighley wore. He wore a sport coat and tennis shoes yet again.
Those shoes.
Just let you know.
Keith goes, not the sources. I know
shoes.
those damn sources.
Yeah, those yellow shoes were ridiculous. I like if I was there in the crowd, I would have found a way past the security and I would have sweep kicked him right off his feet. Those yellow shoes had to go.
Just put a bunch of mandarin oranges on the stage and you wouldn't know where his feet were. They were pretty ugly looking, but
like,
he did look good though.
Kill Bill Volume 1. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the House of Fallen Leaves, ready to take out the whole gang. with your ridiculous yellow shoes? What are you doing? Anyways, doesn't matter. He's been hanging out with Kojima too much. That's what's happening.
Oh my gosh,
Japanese-
the memes when Kojima was on stage. Jeff was like, yeah, it was great. All right, one last thing from Summer Games Fest. Because Summer Games Fest was like big high, super low dip, kind of like Showcase had, and then ended on Resident Evil 9. But the last thing we'll talk about is this guy from Splitgate 2 that trashed Xbox, or not trashed Xbox, trashed Call of Duty, and had people so happy that he said it, but also had a ton of people mad that he bashed their competitor and then announced a battle royale. Did you guys give a crap about the Splitgate, like the guy saying that with the baseball bat? I'll go to Fonz first. I don't know how that was. You were there.
Look, so I was when that happened. At first, I thought he sounded pretty based. I was like, oh, he played Halo. He likes certain games, but he started bashing the fact that COD we get the same thing every year, and I was like, yeah, he's pretty based. But then when he just said like, we made this game and it's effing awesome, and just walked away, it was kind of weird and kind of cringe, man. Like everybody in the audience was like, huh? It just did not seem like it wasn't cool at the end what he did. And I think
it wasn't a good energy in the room, Fonz?
Nobody looked at that and went, oh yeah, that was badass. That drop the mic moment he had really didn't hit. And it was pretty cringe moment.
Mag, you're a big Call of Duty fan. Did you think this guy was disrespectful, or are you like, I'll just play whatever I want?
I didn't pay much attention to him because it doesn't really mean much to me. So I was just like, okay, dude, you can say whatever you want. It's not going to affect my life. I'll just play whatever I think is better. Actually, I'm more looking forward to Battlefield coming out next year than I am Call of Duty, because, yes, I will obviously play Call of Duty and I'll put my hours in as I do every single year. However, it's starting to get a little Fortnite-y for me, and it's getting a little ridiculous. So it's kind of like, I'd like to go back. Yeah, like Ninja Turtles, like Jay and Silent Bob. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? And it's like all of a sudden, like I saw how they did the trailer during the Game Fest for Fortnite, and it has like the Emperor cackling, and it shows like they're going to have like the run on the Death Star. And then the camera pans, and then you see a hot dog with a gun next to a stormtrooper. And I'm like, you had the tone nailed down. You had everything going for you. And then all you see is a hot dog with a gun. I'm like Jesus. And then Call of Duty's doing the same thing.
Wait, isn't hot dog with a gun your screen name when you're in high school?
Well,
online?
Yeah, well, some of the ladies still call me that. Anyways, the thing is that I'm like, you know what I mean? I feel like Call of Duty's is losing its way as well with some of that stuff. And I'm like, I know it's online. It's supposed to be a little silly. But I think some people that really want that like serious sort of tone or whatever is going to be looking for that, and the Battlefield is where they're putting their hopes and praises on for next year. And listen, the last Battlefield sucked. Immensely sucked. I heard it's better now, but forget it, man. Once you've made that bad first impression for the first 2 years, you can forget it. I ain't going back to your game.
Yeah, but who's making Battlefield?
Zampella.
Some people some people that are in the alpha are saying that this new Battlefield, and I've seen a lot of video of this. You can find it yourself on YouTube. There's a lot of leaked footage out there.
I've seen it. I wasn't sure it was real.
They are saying that the Zampella, what's his name? They are actually listening to the community that's playing it now, and it's all the hardcore guys from way back in the day that love Battlefield, that lived Battlefield. They are the ones that are shaping this game. They are doing right by the community. It sounds like Battlefield is going to return to form, and I know that sounds cliche. Everybody uses that, but
it sounds about right.
Like that's happening.
It does.
But dude, Zampella is making the game. He's producing the game. Sorry, he's not making the game.
Yeah.
He comes from the team Respawn that was the original Call of Duty team that made the original Modern Warfare trilogy. And Titanfall. These guys know what they're doing. And that's why they tapped him, which they should have tapped him in the first place. But anyways, they got him now, and he's going to be doing what he's doing. And I'm telling you, I'm more hyped for that than I am Call of Duty. I will play both.
Me too. 100%.
I will play both, but like I'd rather play as a soldier or a Marine or whatever, or a freedom
Then a hot
fighter or whatever the hell I'm going to be doing, than a friggin' hot dog.
Keith Garlington in the chat says,
Kevin
Mag.
Smith.
Keith Garlington in the chat says, Mag, I don't think Fortnite ever toned it down. Like it's always
Mag,
been.
you don't want to play. You don't want to play as Cardi B.
Yeah, like Cardi
Or
B
Megan
with
Thee
the thong
Stallion.
up her, with an M4 carbine machine gun. Like no, thanks.
My son
give me a
runs
soldier,
around as
crying out
Sabrina
loud.
Carpenter in a dress and go-go boots.
in real life. In real life.
Well, yeah, and then
yeah.
I'm like, it's time to play the game, son. I mean, it is 2025, right?
Oh, mercy me.
Nerds and Other Legends, thank you so much for the super chats. A shout out to Fonz. I gave him so much crap in the chats, but meeting him in person was so awesome. Salute. Yeah.
Yes, he did. You know, he came up to me, right? And he's like, hi, Fonz, I'm a big fan. Enjoy your channel. And I'm like, okay. I shake his hand. I go, oh, what's your socials? And he says, Nerds and Other Legends. And I said, you son of a bitch. And I said, you've been talking crap to me all this time. And he didn't have that same energy. He was like, I'm all about loving your channel. No, he's being sarcastic all the time. He said, no, I just love to be that contrarian, be sarcastic. Just love having a good time with you. And he's a good sport. So
yeah, and Fonz
good
sent
to
me
see him.
pictures of you guys together. And it's cool,
In the
nerds,
buff.
because I've seen you in the
In
chat.
buff.
Take off your shirt. We're going to get a picture with the Bicycle Man. Shout out to the Gen Xers. But anyway, yeah, Nerds and Other Legends, like...
Different strokes. I know what you did there with the Bicycle Man. Different strokes. That was a hard freaking episode to take. Oh, wait a minute.
It was.
Yeah,
It was.
that's bad.
Google that on another time. But
Yeah.
nerds, bro, I see you in this chat all the time and in other people's chats. So when Fawn's like, bro, here's nerds, like seeing that stuff, it's amazing. And if I was there, I would have had the opportunity as well. Web Dave says, Fonz is awesome. We missed you, Colt. Maybe next year. Absolutely next year. We are working on it. This was this very special year. Like I said,
it was. Amazing.
this is my second.
Hey, Dave? All right,
What's that?
cool. I see what's up. Just Colt, eh? Did you see that?
Well,
Just Colt.
hold on. I got a DM from Web. Hold on.
No
Web Dave
problem,
just sent me
Web
a DM. He just sent me a DM. He's like, yeah, F that mag. I don't care. Yeah. So no, Mag, we're going to get you to go too.
I know. I'll
gonna
remember
pick you
that,
up.
Dave. I'll remember that. You know, like the
Go
double-
where?
like
To the
double,
bicycle shop? We're going together?
We're going to the bicycle shop. Yeah.
All right.
You know, like in the '80s when they used to do the double headbutt. I'm gonna do that to Web Dave and Hargeet for no reason. Just like you go like this and then just go bam, and they both fall backwards and they fall over the ropes. That's what's happening when we go to FanFest.
The 80s,
Shout
bro.
out to Web
We
Dave,
still
by the
do
way.
that.
Shout out
yeah.
to him.
Yeah, shout out to him, bro. Yeah, really.
The
good
old man,
people.
he did look. He fell asleep a lot. Okay, but he's an old guy. I at one point he was falling asleep in his soup. I had to lift him up. It was a whole thing, but he's fine. He's fine. He survived.
There's so
Was he
so
sitting
many of
next
us
to Tim
are
Dog?
so many of us are so old anyway. Okay, well let's talk about Showcase. What a whirlwind. The overarching part of Showcase. Meg, did you watch it later that day, or when did you catch up on Showcase because you've been on a business trip?
It was basically like last night / this morning.
Okay.
When I finally actually got to see this thing in its entirety, and I got sit down. So I've barely even had time to absorb the damn thing, and then I just basically threw myself in the front door here to get here on the show. So I've just had like. What I did is I actually screenshotted all the game because I haven't had much time to like sit back and really absorb it from yesterday. So I screenshotted all the games and so I could remember them all because it was a lot of them.
Good.
I just don't even remember what the hell they were. I was just, you know what I mean? Like to be honest and to be fair, my overview was that about 40% of the games I not really my bag, and that's fine. And therefore I didn't even remember their names. The other 60%, I'm like, all right, let's see what you got. And it was very interesting. There was a lot of omissions in there that you and I talked about the week before.
Yeah.
That we also found interesting that those omissions were very clear and presently missed. And so, yeah, very interested to see how that's going to pan out in the future. But anyways, carry on, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to start off by saying there was a dip in the middle because almost every show that I watch has this dip in the middle. And I felt like Summer Games Fest and Xbox Showcase had almost the same 25-ish minute dip that seems longer than it really is. But holy crap. Does Clockwork Revolution look like my most anticipated game of this generation. I am
Game of the show.
Oh my gosh. I was telling Mag, I was telling you last week, I'm a little worried about Clockwork. I know it's going to be great, but it just looks kind of old. And I'm sure it's great. And I know in Exiles, I couldn't believe how, and I'm normally very, very positive and optimistic about Xbox games, but holy crap, this Clockwork Revolution look incredible. I've watched the trailer a million times. I've cut it up, just put it down to gameplay. It looks so chewy, ooey, and gooey, like biting into a candy bar. It just looks like my bag. And I gotta ask you, Mag, like we were talking about those visuals, looking a little bit dated. Like, tell me what your first kickoff was there for Clockwork Orange. That's what we always call it.
Clockwork Orange, yeah.
You know, it's funny. I said that to you the other night on the phone. I was like, yeah, well, Clockwork Orange is going to be there, right? And you're like, and you started laughing. You go, me and Mag do that all the time.
Yeah, it's all three of our game of the shows, guys. Yeah, Mag. Let's hear. I got to hear from Fonz as well. Like, give me your impressions of what you're getting from it.
I thought that when it first was coming on, I wasn't sure which game it was. I was thinking maybe, I'm like, could it be that BioShock game? Because, you know, there's this very similar art style that seems to run through a lot of games. And I'm like, which one am I getting here? Like, and then I'm watching it and I'm like, it kind of looks like a bit of Borderlands with a bit of BioShock, with a bit of Clockwork Orange, with a bit of Clockwork Revolution. And I couldn't figure out which one it was. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm seeing what's going on here. But what's cool is there's more than just like the gameplay and what I saw, the very interesting weapons, melting people with like whatever the hell that gun was and all kinds of things that was going on in the trailers. It's the story stuff that gets me. Outer Worlds 2, sorry. For the first 30 seconds, I thought it was Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, bro. They look the same. Yeah, keep going.
They look the same. So I'm like, what is with Xbox and this bloody art style? Which one is which? So I'm like, well, wait a minute, this is not Outer Worlds 2. And I'm like, this has got to be something else. And I'm like, this might be Clockwork Revolution. And so I'm watching this trailer more and more and more. And I'm like, you know what? This is actually pretty good. And like the music was swelling. The story was getting more exciting. You know, the protagonist was there, you know, like, you know what we're dealing with. And yeah, he speaks. And so I'm just like, wow, this is, he had charisma. He had a little bit of gravitas to him. You know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of, never mind the art style, he reminded me of Handsome Jack from the first couple of Borderlands games.
Nice.
Where the character is so well written and so well produced that you're like, I'm invested in that guy. I want to know what happens next with that guy because he's obviously a well-written character. And that keeps you invested. Never mind gameplay loops. Gameplay loops are very important, obviously. But even a story will continue to push you forward where you go to bed that night or you wake up the next morning, go to work, and you're just like, you know what? I can't wait to get to the next part of this game because I want to know what happens next. Yeah. And then, of course, then they showed a bunch of gameplay towards the end. I mean, it was sprinkled throughout, but the ingenuity
heavy in the last half,
of the weapons. Yeah, very heavy in the last half. The ingenuity of the weapons was really, really cool. That's what really sold me on a lot of this.
Like cranks and gold ornate and wood furniture and all that stuff. Is that kind of your vibe, Meg?
Well, it was almost borderline steampunk kind of vibe.
It is steampunk.
You know what I mean?
Which is also kind of, Borderlands is kind of steampunk / Mad Max. Sure. Yeah. And a little bit of like a BioShock Infinite kind of vibe as well to it. And so like it had all these like, it was basically hitting all these notes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're hitting this note, we're hitting this note, we're hitting this note. And they were nailing it where I'm just like, all right, you got my attention. Now I'm really interested in it. And then my heart broke into 9 pieces or 8 pieces like Voldemort's Horcruxes when they're like, in due time. And I'm like, the hell with you in your due time. What does that Snape
even...
in due...
What? Yeah, in due time, Potter. And I'm like, what does that even mean, in due time? So does that, like...
it means you will wait.
Yeah, you will.
You will wait, and you will like it.
Now, here's the thing. May I ask a question before you go on? I'm going to ask this last question, then you guys move on to Fonz.
Yeah.
Phil very specifically mentioned at the end of the show when he rhymed off a bunch of games that are coming in 2026, which, you know, like E-Day, Fable, and on and on and on, at Forza Horizon 6. He made no mention of Clockwork Revolution. I'm wondering.
He just mentioned their tentpole franchises, I think, but...
Okay. So do you guys think, before we carry on, do you think it'll still make the target of 26?
My opinion is that it probably means that In Exile wants 2026 at the end of the year, but they might move to 2027. Otherwise, I think they would have said 2026. So,
and can we also have picked a better name than the Knob?
Why? That's your name.
I mean, well, I know that I've been called that several times, but you could,
dude, I think those guys are hilarious.
Name than the Knob. I mean, like if I got to a supervillain, and I'm sitting in a lounge, and I've got a big cigar or a pipe, and I've got my cocktail in my hand, and this guy comes in, and he goes, "I will destroy you," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, who are you?" And he's like, "Who are you, Knob?" And I was just like, "The what?" I'd probably spill my drink. My pipe would go flying out of my mouth. I'd be on the floor rolling with laughter. What kind of a name is the Knob?
Oh man. All right, Fonz.
It's not scary.
The Fonz, the guy who doesn't like anything. Tell us what your impressions were of Clockwork Revolution.
Game of the show,
Yeah.
hands down. For me, it looked really cool. I love all the different weaponry, the variety they had there, mix and match kind of thing going on there. Like Mag said, very Borderline-esque in that regard. But one thing that really stuck out to me was the fact that, you remember about a month ago, we were talking about how this game might not be all that, like, we were like, it kind of looks like it's going to have that dated look to it. Might be like a 360 style game. Didn't look like that at all. It looks so much better than what we originally thought.
You think that this trailer visually looks improved over the last trailer?
It looks improved over the last. The animations, especially.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's
overall
what I'm seeing is with the animations.
Yeah, it looks so good.
I'm looking forward to it. Like, everybody was hyped for this. I put up a fan reaction on my channel to some of the games, and this was one of them I put up on my channel because the fans were hyped for this at the watch party. It was one of those games that just made you stand up and go, "This is what we want, Xbox. Great, this is awesome." Aside from that, though, the one negative thing I will say is the same thing that Mag brought up, was the fact that we don't know when this is coming out.
Yeah,
there was no window given, and if I had to guess, I believe that this will not be out until 2027.
Yeah.
Just because of everything that we've seen and heard from Phil, not mentioning the game in 2026. The game saying pretty much to stay tuned.
I don't correlate that, but I agree with you. I think when Phil's statement about those games, he was talking about tentpole franchises. I don't think he was keen in about Clockwork, but regardless, I think we're correct that this game will probably initially, when it finally lands, it will be 2027. But I'm going to say what I said at the beginning of the show, because we can make this excuse now, Mag. I was telling Fonz, like, if something doesn't land this year or next year, there are already tons of games. Xbox is already stacked to have another game of the game in history lineup in 2026 as well.
Ooh.
And so
they're
if
not
Clockwork...
suffering. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you this, though, Cole. Wasn't this one of the games that did not have the PlayStation 5 logo on there?
This one had a Series X icon, a PC icon, and a cloud icon.
And we were discussing that, and we don't know exactly why, when everything else that was shown from them was going to PlayStation.
I'm going to address the exclusivity real quick for Clockwork Revolution. It would be best to assume, it would be more truthful to assume that Clockwork Revolution will launch day and date everywhere. The reason why I think that there wasn't a PS5 and Xbox Series logo is because there might be some internal thing with communication when they make trailers that this game, it doesn't have a release window, so they're not going to bother putting all that stuff on there. The other thing I want to say is In Exile is a bit of a smaller team. There's a possibility that they are planning to just get Xbox and PC out the gate first, but it's not really likely, but that could be what they're doing, and that's why they didn't say anything. But the more likely scenario is that it's just not time to announce everything because they don't have a window.
That's what I'm thinking. These games, as we were talking about earlier, and we've talked about, I'm sure, on all our respective channels, At one point, we have discussed that everything moving forward, the reason why some of those games had a 6-month delay or a 4-month delay or an 8-month delay going to the PlayStation is because when they were originally in production and they were originally in development, they actually weren't co-developing for the PlayStation 5 at that point. So that came later down the road where they had to pull a team aside and say, okay, guys, Frosted Glass, you're going to go work on Indie Jones over there for the PS5 or whatever, right? And that's why those games were delayed. However, I can absolutely assure you that moving forward, every single game is coming to the PlayStation 5 day and date. There is no delay, there's no anything, but Colt is absolutely correct. The reason why is because they are nowhere near finished this game. But the thing is, and I'm reading the chat here, I'm kind of leaning towards the chat where I'm like, this game looks done. I know we only saw a vertical, like I know we saw a vertical slice. I understand that. But I mean, it looks like it's ready to rock. Like,
I know,
you know
it's like, give it to us now.
Yeah, but then we gotta understand too. Sometimes when we see things, like people had that misconception with the Witcher 4 tech demo, and they were like, "Oh my God, it looks great! This is done. We're gonna get it next year." And
right.
Yeah,
they haven't started.
Yeah, they did start it.
No, I mean they started, but I'm saying like it's not like in a form. It's not in a place where you can actually play missions and stuff like that. It's
I doubt it. I doubt it. But to that, I just will say about the Witcher 4 thing. You know how people are saying, it's no way it's going to look like that. No, maybe not as good as that resolution and all that, and all that freaking ray tracing going on your PS5. But let's be real. It's going to look similar to that. Just like The Witcher 3 looks similar to what they showed and how it played. It wasn't 1-to-1, but it will look similar. That's what I'm getting at. So
I'm going to assume that Clockwork Revolution is very, very close to being ready because you saw that much. I would
then why 2027?
Because I think there's a little bit more that I could add to this. I think that they know they probably want to hit holiday 2026, but they also have to maneuver the rest of Xbox lineup. And they have to maneuver possible, Fable. They have to maneuver possibility of Grand Theft Auto delaying. So there's a lot of like moving parts going on. I would just assume that in Exile, they're probably telling Xbox like, we're probably ready by holiday. But like, how sure are you? Well, not totally. Well, let's just hold on. There's plenty of time. If we don't see it at Direct in January, then maybe they do need a little more time. But they totally could skip Developer Direct in January, have a bigger final showing in June, and come out at the end of the year. You never know. I mean, these teams are doing some awesome work. The other thing I want to talk about with Clockwork Revolution that we didn't say was there is another game franchise that it emulates that we haven't played in a long time. We've been begging for the return of these type of games, and it's the time dilation or time manipulation games like Time Shift, if you played that on the 360 and PS3, and Singularity. And I know you remember Singularity from Activision, right? You had the wrist thing or the hand thing. It's almost identical to Clockwork Revolution, where you can stop time or rewind time. I think Time Shift also had that. So. Yeah, Jocko Rose says too much going on right now.
He's not wrong.
It's crazy. It's so good. So, well, let me move to the next game because I could sit here and gush about that game all day long. Let's just go right into the other game that Mag and I believe look almost identical. Outer Worlds 2 looks really improved as well. And Fonz, I'll go with you first. You played the last one. Like, what's your opinion on Outer Worlds 2?
I love the first game. I mean, that was a great game. Yeah, I don't like anything. Yeah, right, guys? Remember that. No, I love the first one. We played through that. The only negative thing I had to say about that first one is the same negative thing you had to say about that first one, Colt. I didn't feel that the maps were big enough. I love those types of games because I want to explore stuff. And there wasn't much in the way of exploration and finding cool stuff. Yeah. And that's what I want. I just don't want like a couple of branching paths in a small little biome. I want bigger maps. And hopefully they do something a little bit bigger than they did last time.
They said they're 2 times bigger, so that's probably about right.
That's great. Yeah. Then I've got more exploration, but the game looks great. Dude, I'm sold on it already based off the first game. I don't need to see any more. Like, just the fact they could put up Outer Worlds 2 is coming, and I'm there. That's it.
Yeah. How about you, Mag? They said there's going to be a third-person mode. You also have a first-person mode. What's sticking out to you with Outer Worlds 2? Did you mess with the first one?
Yeah, I played it for maybe about 3 hours or so, and I didn't really grab me the way I wanted it to because it looked great. It looked like I'm like, this is cool, and it had that sort of like Borderlands humor and the sort of look and vibe of the environments and everything. It looked very Borderlands-ish, and I'm like, oh, I'm really gonna enjoy this, and it didn't really grab me the way I had hoped. But that doesn't temper my my expectations for a second, because a lot of times when proper studios like Obsidian, for example, who are a great studio, when you make a sequel to a game, generally they build on that, right? Instead of going backwards. It's like, how like when you get to like the movies in Hollywood, as each sequel comes out, they get worse. If a company is actually if a developer's development studio is actually paying attention, developers, they will build on the strengths of the previous games and make better ones. So I'm open-minded about this. I'm like, I'll sit down and give it a good old college try. I got Game Pass. I'll play it. It's not a problem, and I'll check it out. But by watching the trailer, I think, again, you're going to have a strong story because Obsidian, they're great with their storytelling. What's her name there? Auntie Cleo or whatever the hell her name is.
Yep.
With the big hair and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, she seems pretty sinister and cool. And I might enjoy murdering her later on in the game with a bolt gun to the neck. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. So I'm interested in it. Some of the weapons were kind of cool. Like there was the Shrinkinator, where you zap the dude, and then all of a sudden he just pulls out a mallet and just smushes him like a bug, and I'm like, that's pretty funny. And like there was some cool stuff in there. But again, seeing the gameplay and stuff like that didn't really grab me that much. But I will sit down and I will try it. I will stay completely open-minded and be like, all right, let's give it a shot. However, I will tell you this. If you were to ask me to pick which of the two, I would absolutely pick Clockwork Revolution over this. I'm not nearly as excited. I think that my excitometer is about a 2 out of 10 for Outer Worlds 2. I would think that Clockwork Revolution. Really? Well, I'm not in comparison to Clockwork Revolution. I would say that my Clockwork Revolution's sitting at about an 8.
Yeah, taking up the rest of your excitometer.
Yeah, my excitometer, and I'm just like, all right, I will play this.
And your Mag, your excitometer for Mindseye, real quick.
Oh my god.
It comes out tomorrow,
my excitometer for Mindseye is a 9.5, and I'll tell you why.
Great.
Because it's going to be either fun and awesome or so bad it's awesome.
I love that.
So
that's a true Bobby fan right
so
there.
Bad you can't even move the character in some points, bro. Like, come on.
If there is now, here's the thing. A lot of people have been asking me, because I asked everybody last week. I'm like, guys, for a couple laughs, do you want me to stream this game? I'll buy it and I'll stream the game on my channel. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
F it. We'll get it and do it live.
F it. We'll do it live. But here's the thing. If the controls are so bad I can't move the character or I can't do something like that, I'm not spending $100. If
I think the problem with the game is you're going to
finish the game.
I think the problem is not controls. I think the game, you're going to die all the time. It's just going to be frustratingly difficult because the game just isn't balanced properly. That's why I'm worried about it. That's what I think. Like, Mr. Matty Place said that when they were watching the hands-off thing, like, they could tell the character was in God mode because they would have died a million times over because there's so many things shooting at you. I don't know. I just have a feeling it might be frustrating, and that what might be the thing that takes the fun away from it. But I love that the three of us are like, we want it to be great. We're gonna like give it a try because it's true gaming fans, man. And I know the chat got a little bit of that too.
Yeah, I never look at a game and say, I hope that game sucks. I don't do that. Despite what you may think of me, I don't look at a game and go, I hope it really sucks. Like, it's weird.
I might do that when the Neil Druckmann game comes out.
Oh,
what, the Druckmann game?
I'm just kidding. I'm excited about Intergalactic. I just didn't.
I'm not excited about it, but that's not me wanting it to suck.
Mine's not because there's an ugly woman. See, I know a lot of people are running with the narrative of because there's a very ugly woman with way too big eyebrows. like as the main character. I couldn't care less.
She's balder than you. Yeah.
Yeah, she's balder than me. And actually, by the way, if any eagle-eyed people out there were watching the Last of Us show on HBO, which was atrocious, by the way, I gave it a 3 out of 10. It is the worst. It is horrible, just horrible. And it's not because Joel dies, blah blah. It's because it's
Holy, I'm gonna be a dad.
So I'm gonna be a dad. I'm like,
gonna be a dad.
A girl. You need him. Never mind. What I was gonna say. The Intergalactic Girl is actually one of the people that beat Joel to death. Did you see
really?
that?
Oh yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
like
In the TV show or in the game?
No, in the game.
Spoilers.
So,
TV show, right?
Yeah,
okay.
You know how they're all like one by one, they're beating them up and all that bullshit and this and that. And then they pan around the room, and one of the chicks is actually the girl from Intergalactic. I'm like, hey, I recognize that horribly ugly face with unusually large eyebrows.
Meg. That's so mean.
People say
Just
that about
because
me all
you're
day long.
the handsomest one in the room doesn't mean you get to kick people while they're down. No, I love it.
Dude, she's
No, my biggest
apparently
my biggest issue with Intergalactic is Neil Druckmann's writing. I'm not a fan. And people will always go back because you loved Last of Us. He wrote that. Yes, but he had the help of Bruce Straley. If you go back and read some of the stuff that was written, he specifically states that Bruce Straley kept him together and didn't allow him to just get too crazy with the writing.
And now that Druckmann is the head of the studio, he's gone off the deep end, you think? Like, because I've heard the last
100%. 100%. He
I
wrote
know
that.
people who worked, well, yeah, and I know people who actually worked on the show, never mind the game, the second game, and then, of course, Intergalactic. I actually know people who worked on the show, and they said he's completely, like, he's a wacko. That's all I'm going to say. But
What's
yeah,
up, Umbra?
he's just, he's out there. So it's just like, basically what they're trying to say is they took the leash off him, and they should have kept the leash on him.
All you have to see is he wrote. Do it again, Colt. Do it again.
Gotta be a dad.
He wrote that, folks.
Yeah,
I just get it. It gets recommended in my reels, and I keep telling reels, do not recommend all the people bashing Bella Ramsey and bashing the show. I'm not going to watch the show because, unlike,
it's just bad.
Yeah, let's just move on.
It's just bad.
Well,
Anyway,
okay, so there's some quirky games to talk about and some really cool things.
All right.
I did not expect High on Life to be shown, High on Life 2, and to get a release date for probably December of this year. What are you guys thinking about High on Life? Fight for the chance to talk. High on Life 2.
I don't have much to say on it. Yeah, I don't have much to say on it because I didn't really care for the first one. But everybody, like, not everybody, but a lot of people there during the community watch party, they love what they saw. So,
what about you, Mag? Did you play the?
I did play it. I finished it.
I loved it.
My wife finished it too. We both played it, and it was fun. It was interesting. It was I like the way it moved. I like knifey, the little knife in your hand, and or stabby, whatever the hell his name was. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. Stabby, I believe.
And then like the boss battles were fun. I liked it. I enjoyed the game.
I spent 30 minutes standing in the courtyard watching TV commercials, laughing my head off.
Oh yeah. And then if you actually go inside the house, like when the house gets transported into that area, whatever, you can actually go in the house, and then there's that weird thing on the couch watching TV, and you could sit there and you can actually watch TV.
There was that movie that had like a young Paul Walker in it, or something like that. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. Tuggernutt says the DLC was terrible. And
was it
really? They lost Justin Roiland, who is the creator of Rick and Morty and all those of that type of thing, but they have a guy who sounds like him, but I hope the game is as funny as the other one. I don't know.
May I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Maybe the chat might know, or you guys might know. When Roiland was gone for that Me Too stuff, was it proven that he did not do that stuff? Because I think that he
got cleared, but the damage had already been done. Sean Labrie says, I have a friend that's the lead artist for that studio. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Tammy and the T-Rex was the movie. Yeah.
So then why wasn't he allowed to write High on Life 2 then?
I think he just kind of, I don't know anything about it, but I bet Justin was just like, F it. I'm tired of it. Like, all right, fair enough. I don't want to do anything anymore. He probably made a bunch of money and then had to deal with a bunch of nonsense. let's shift gears really hard and talk about the Xbox ROG Ally handheld, which is more than meets the eye, but there is a big discussion. Part of the framing of today's podcast is about how Xbox has hacked their way to end exclusivity in many, many ways, because most of PlayStation's games this generation are on PC. Almost all of them at this point. Almost all of their games from the PS5 generation are on PC or coming to PC or launched on PC day and date. And of course, it's confirmed at this point that this Xbox Ally can play Steam games and PlayStation can't block it. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to make a video all about the future of Xbox and an ending exclusivity. But Meg and I sat here on the show, and I was going to put the hat forward, but it covers my eyes. Meg and I sat here on the show and kind of said, I don't know if you guys can be excited about this thing because it can't play your games. Well, I didn't know there's 1,000 Play Anywhere games. The reality is, if you've been buying Xbox-owned games, like first-party games since 2016, they would all be playable on this handheld. We're talking Quantum Break and on from the Xbox One generation. But the issue is if your Assassin's Creed games or your Ubisoft games that aren't Play Anywhere would not be on there that you own on console. So
I think that's the biggest problem that people have with it that I've seen online, people talking about. They're like, oh, but you can't play all your old games. And I think that was meant for the next one that they were supposed to build.
Yeah, and we're not sure if they're going to go forward with that handheld. They're sure treating this one like it's the real deal. It's apparently very impressive. The specs are really great. It's got an AI-powered chip that's going to make a powerful handheld even better. So the two of you guys, like, you don't really mess with handhelds too much. Meg, what was your impressions of the reveal of the Xbox handheld? What do you see happening with this thing?
I thought it was impressive. It looked nice. The features that they showed. I'm not a tech guy, so I'm not going to dive into something I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, from a consumer point of view, I'm like, wow, that's very impressive. It looks interesting. It looks like if I was in the market for a high-end handheld, I would buy something like that. However, I have absolutely zero interest in buying a high-powered handheld. And then on top of that, I could probably add to the fact that if it's anywhere where everybody's guessing the price is, not very many people are going to buy it either. So I don't think it's going to sell very well.
What's your best guesstimate in US dollars? The price for that ROG Ally X, the powerful one.
The powerful one?
Yeah, there's two models. The black and the white one.
What kind of storage does the higher end one have?
I think it's 1 terabyte.
Oh, it'll be no less than $800, maybe more, maybe 1,000.
That's what I'm thinking. How about you, Fonz?
Isn't the ROG sitting at about 1,000 for the high end one anyway? Give or take.
I think, I'm not sure what the Z Extreme is because I have the ROG Ally X.
Chad, help us out, man.
The King says 86. So it's that bad that I don't know exactly which model. I have whatever the highest end one was before they did the Z Extreme. Yeah, the chat's saying that. What do you think? What's the price range of these two models, Fonzie?
I would go probably $799. I don't know, $899, 1,000. I don't know. I'm not sure. The pricing on handhelds is pretty up there.
Yeah.
And I'm not a handheld guy, but I will say this: Paris is in the chat, and he did get hands-on time with this ROG Xbox thing. I just
foiled again by Paris.
Exactly. Yeah. You probably would have got some time had you gone.
Yeah, I know.
Weekend, but
dang it, Paris got in the way again. Yet again, he has foiled my plans. Yeah.
My nemesis. Yeah, my nemesis. Yeah. He got hands-on with it.
Yeah, Paris is awesome. Yeah, he got hands-on with a lot of stuff, too. So,
it's not going to sell well. Let's just call it what it is. No, it's not going to sell. I mean, maybe if the lower-priced one is put somewhere competitively where it's going to be somewhere between $500 and $600, maybe you might. But again,
because the Steam Deck does really well.
The Steam Deck does well, but it took them a couple of years to get 4 million sales, right? The ROG Ally hasn't even hit 800,000, or sorry, just hit 800,000. but the price is going to be a big thing. I'm not going to get into all this tariff talk. Is tariff going to be a thing? I'm just asking. That could affect prices. People don't have much money these days. If you've already got an Xbox console and you or a PC or a PlayStation or a Nintendo Switch 1 or 2, what are you going to buy this for? This is for a very small group of people that have expendable money, and that's not enough to make a big splash in the market unless you put it priced competitively, which they won't. And therefore, as a result of it, it will not sell well.
Meg's correct,
I don't
because
give a shish kebab what anybody says.
the Steam Deck is the most affordable, most enjoyable handheld, is what I hear. But these things are priced to make money. So you guys, both of you are right. This thing is going to be $800 to $1,000, and Xbox and Asus aren't selling it so that they can, do a charity job for people.
Colt, they just raised the prices of their 5-year-old consoles.
I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about that, and the hardware surrounding that that console, controllers and everything else. They raised the prices on all that stuff. So that being the case, why would this is going to be priced out of this is going to be moved into a price range out of a lot of people's reach, and that's unfortunate.
I agree, Mag. This Xbox ROG Ally will probably be one of the most premier, high-powered, well-made handhelds on the market until the next thing comes out. So it's going to be the most powerful, but that means it's going to be the most expensive. One of the things that
it's going to be great. Like I said, I think it's going to be an impressive machine. It's just the reality versus the product are two different things. You can look at the product and go, wow, look at that. You can look at a Lamborghini and say, wow, what a well-built vehicle. Look at how incredible that is. Look at the craftsmanship. But it's way out of it's way out of the price range of 99% of the people on this planet. I'm not saying, I'm just being extreme, but like, that's a little extreme. But I'm just saying, you're still pricing this way above what people are willing to pay. Now, people are already bitching about $80 games. You're going to buy a $1,000 handheld?
I meant to talk about that when we were talking about our world. So what were you going to say, Fonz?
It makes me wonder on how much of this handheld, I don't know, quote unquote craze, what will go on for. Like, because I know some people that had bought handhelds like the ROGs, like the Steam Decks, to get that entry into PC gaming. A lot of people did that as well as some people that just like handheld devices, gaming devices. But I wonder how long that will last, especially with the growing price, the way it's getting so expensive for any piece of hardware these days, let alone handhelds. And I'm just wondering, like, at what point is it going to be where some of these companies say, hey, it's just not really as lucrative for us to go out and design all the R&D that goes into it, pour all this money into handhelds. And I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons, besides the whole Windows things for Xbox having to deal with and their next handheld, I wonder if they're looking at it going, is this really smart for us? And is it just more beneficial to partner with an established company already with one of the hottest handhelds there is?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and they could both benefit.
I'm wondering
from
if
that
this is
subsidy.
kind of like I'm wondering if this is kind of just like a test bed for them. Let's see how a Xbox ROG Ally does first.
It's both Xbox and Asus can kind of alleviate the pain from having both of those things. And one of the things, Mag, that you and I like really an integral part of the podcast is that, like, when we sit here and do this show, like, right, it takes like a ton of energy. And hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We couldn't do it, Meg. We couldn't do this show if it wasn't for an amazing sponsor. And we got to take a second to talk about 4XP, because they've made a big difference and they've been powering us every single week. And we talked to the team behind the great 4XP product. It's a powdered energy drink that you've mixed with water. And I've got the joysticks here. Crap. If I leave one on the floor, my dog will eat them. Mag tell them about 4XP real quick, and we'll get back into the Asus Xbox Ally.
You know why your dog would eat him, Colteastwood? Do you know why?
Tell me why.
Tell me why. I'll tell you why. Because your dog knows quality, and our people in this chat know quality. And when it comes to quality, there's no better quality than 4XP, ladies and gentlemen. Go to 4xpgaming.com. Go check it out. Go to the website. there is a code in there. There's a promo code that's going to give you a little bit of a discount in there. They've got fantastic flavors. I've got the flavors. I've been giving them out to people. They love them. I have people sending me screenshots of what they ordered, and it got them like, Mag, I got this. It's awesome. I can't wait to get it again. You got to go to 4xpgaming.com, ladies and gentlemen. You got to go check them out. You got to support these guys. These guys are running a small business. They're going up against the big dogs. And you know what? These guys have bite. Never mind the bark. They got bite. They can take out these big dogs, but it's up to you to help them out. It's up to you to get them off the ground. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. You got to go to 4xpgaming.com. You got to go check it out. Hey, just a few short weeks ago, they gave away Doom the Dark Ages Ultimate Edition to one lucky person that went to their website free of charge. You didn't even have to buy product. That is what you call good graces. That is what you call
for the gamers.
Generosity. That is something, and they are gamers themselves. This is a generosity that you never see. For Monster give you anything? No. The only thing Monster gives you is heartburn. Okay? So if you want heartburn, go get Monster. You want quality, you go to 4xpgaming.com.
Thank you, Mag. You're the best. I appreciate you. Shout out to the sponsor, everybody. That's in the description, like Mag said. Let's. I got to talk about the best part of the Xbox Ally, because someone Yodani was like, is it ROG or Rogue? It's Republic of Gamers, so the actual pronunciation should be RUG. If you're saying Republic of, if you're going to say that, but yeah, it's ROG Ally. Is what most people call it.
That sounds ridiculous.
I need a RUG. The best part of this thing is sorry, I got to get into the dashboard, the UI. Like, I've talked about how frustrating it is to use the standard ROG Ally. This thing has a one button, everything loads up. It loads up your storefront. Like, you can pop in to your gaming setup. You don't have to fumble with Windows. And mine, the way it's set up, like, I have to go to Windows. I have to like double click like a button on the screen, or load up the Armory crate, which is like their version of their UI. I haven't dove into everything, but they've made this thing so accessible, and it's a look into the future, Fonz, of how Xbox can make a universal, unified platform where you can just load up. Because you and I play on PC a lot, and I'm on a controller all the time.
A lot.
And the future could be, Fonz, on Xbox. You push that Xbox button. I'll pull a Dreamcast guy.
It's an absolute bloodbath.
That you could push one button and get right to your games. That you can get right to your games, right? Without fiddling with like grabbing Alt Tab and hitting buttons on your keyboard or your mouse, which is not the end of the world. But if you can have that marriage of how console just gets you right to your games and get the power of PC, like, that's what I'm seeing with this new Xbox Ally. And I think it's the very start. And you play a lot on PC, Fonz. So if you're not on handheld, like, what can you say about that? Like, does that interest you at all when I'm selling?
Not the handheld, not at all. Good. Like, I'm not interested in any handheld. Like, we have Switches and stuff, but I never play them in handheld mode. It's always hooked up to the dock. It doesn't get played in handheld mode. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
So I can't really speak to that.
Can I sum up how I feel about it in one sentence that True77 in the chat said? And he's like, I'm not against it. It's just not for me.
Okay, yeah.
I feel the same way. Like, I'm not smack talking it. I'm not talking bad about it at all. I think it's an impressive piece of hardware. And I'm like, man, if I got my hands on it, I would be all over that. Fantastic. Except you're putting in we're talking American dollars, by the way.
I know what
$800 to $1,000 in Canada, Australia. First of all, someone in Aussie told me there's going to be closer to $2,000. Sorry,
jeez,
you can keep it. Just look at like the Nintendo Switch too. I told you what was happening up here. It ain't selling out. They're not people burning down the Walmart. Well, maybe in LA, but they're not burning down the Walmarts and whatever trying to get a Switch too. But Baducci they're still sitting on the shelves here, piles of them, because they're $800 here. So everybody's laughing in their face. They're like, yeah, whatever, Nintendo. That's
a premium product for sure.
And if you're not selling Nintendos, dude, you ain't selling a $1,500 handheld. You're not doing it. Maverick in the chat here says, Mag, have you seen how many followers these handheld channels have? That's got nothing to do with the numbers of the people that actually have purchased a handheld.
I mean,
it's not even close.
There's 5 or 6 million people that have Steam Decks, ROG Allies, and Lenovo Go's probably. Maybe
collectively?
more. But there's not a lot of
collectively, sure.
collectively,
Yeah.
right? But Fonz, what do you think about
But
like
then
this
again,
one
at those
button
prices,
push?
Mag, you have to understand that's a lot of money that they're bringing in per handheld.
Yeah.
They're making good money out of that.
But-
I just don't know how long that craze is going to last. That's my whole outlook on this thing, and it's one of the reasons why I think that they put their handheld on the back burner and favor this ROG Ally deal as a test bed.
It's a litmus test.
Fonz-
We said that last week. I said the exact same thing. They're like, let's see how it goes, and they put their own on ice. And if this doesn't move, the prices,
hold on.
man. Jez said it today. It's the prices, dude.
Yeah, which we don't know. But the thing that
Which we don't know.
Xbox said they were sidelining their own handheld because they wanted to get optimization on the operating system on these handhelds. But one of the things they're touting on here, Fonz, and I want you to speak on this because you're primarily right now, you're playing most of your games on PC. The thing that they're optimizing now is to shut off and shut back Windows systems to optimize just for gaming mode. And if they do this on a handheld, is this something you could be excited about, that you could launch an Xbox app and launch your games on Steam where it just like takes the Windows background and just says, hey, cool it. Right now, Fonz is in
that's a
gaming
cool
mode.
tech. It's really cool tech on paper. I want to see if it breaks anything else on your PC by shutting that down to do this. Because no, I'm not even being funny, because I've talked to some tech heads about this, and it's going to take a lot of time to actually get things done through the Windows, because Windows incorporates everything. Like everything that's in Windows is going to get affected by certain things you change and stuff. And they're like, bro, it's going to take a lot of time and effort to test all this. And again, I want to see how that plays out. It's great tech on paper, though. Great.
Yeah, and
that would
Fonz
be
is
awesome
right.
if it just shuts everything off, and then you play something and it's not running any resources in the background to help, say, run Copilot on freaking whatever, or you don't have things going on in the background,
or searching for a Windows update, or cranking something
Yeah.
on your drive or your system.
Yeah, that's always
on your CPU.
good.
And Xbox is notoriously terrible at their PC app. And I play a ton on PC. I launched that Xbox app from the controller and I get into my games, but I don't want to bore you guys, because if you don't play on PC, you don't care. But you hit the Xbox button on PC, it brings up a sidebar, which is like a mini console dashboard. And you can go to your games, you can go to party, you can go to social, all that stuff, like I'm on console. But I push the button, I can't move anything. So I was talking to Hargeet Chani, your co-host, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a thing. You push the button, turn it on, push the button to turn it off, push the button to launch it again, and then it's a bug." He's like, "It's a bug. Like you can't maneuver the game bar until you do it twice." I'm like, that would literally take Jerry one day at Microsoft. Like, "Hey Jerry, did you know that you have to push this thing twice to control it?" "Oh yeah, can you fix that?" And then one of our tech guys we were talking to said, that literally is not a quick fix, because Xbox and Microsoft have to fix all these interlocking systems to fix one bug. So
Yes.
Fonz is right. Like it works it's cool on paper, but is Xbox going to deliver it? But my stance is there is so much potential. I'm getting a headache. There's so much potential with
That
Xbox
too
trying
small.
to unify
That's
it.
why it's squeezing your head right now.
Yeah, I'm squeezing my small brain.
I didn't say small. You did that, sir.
Anyway, I do, but
Shout out to
I'm
Soil
shocked.
Tech in the chat, by the way. Met him in person. Soil Tech, great guy. Mo,
You met him
awesome.
last year
Love
too,
it.
Fonz. You remember?
Yeah.
I'm
No.
sure.
I know.
Yeah.
But we talked a lot more this year. Like we sat
he
down.
is a good dude.
And great guy.
You know, he
Great
told
guy.
us, you were telling me what he said to you, and I'm going to parrot it because he said the same thing to me last year. That he said, if you're ever in town, come by. We'll get drinks or go to, like, Meg, we've been doing this show together for over 2 years. And when someone watches us every week and they're like, I would love to have a beer with one of you guys or have a drink or whatever, you don't know how much that means to us, because we're flapping our gums here. And I know it feels like we all know each other, but like that is bro, I cannot wait. I'm going to drag you to Showcase next year.
Listen, if they continue to build on this and Keeley continues to build into a bigger thing, whatever, I am making every intention to come to LA. I will go to LA next year. I think it's an absolute must at that point that I got to get out there. I got a lot of traveling to do next year. I don't like flying, but I have no bloody choice. So I mean, I've got to hit Florida at some point. I've got to hit South America at some point. I got to hit Germany at some point, and then LA. And I'm like, I don't like flying. I hate it, but that's the only way I can get there. So looks like LA is going to be on the docket for next year. Now, that being said,
does your wife hit you over the head with a mallet and then push you into the plane?
Dude, actually, I would invite that. I actually would invite that because like I get Ativan. No, it's that bad, dude.
What's Ativan?
Like I get Ativan.
Is that the thing that makes it?
No, not that drug. That's another drug I take. And then take photos. What I do is Ativan is a pill you dissolve under your tongue, and then it totally it's basically an anti-anxiety medication, and it pretty much mellows me out. Even that, my anxiety
does it make you sleepy?
Like, blows right over that. Sort of. It just kind of chills you out.
Okay. Yeah, I get you, Meg. I don't like to fly either. I drive everywhere.
Yeah, well,
and I do a lot of traveling. I've driven to Florida several times.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, that's fair. But like, I'm not driving to LA from Toronto.
No, I
like that's like
you can have gap stops in between and do things elsewhere, Nashville and all that.
Well, I go to Nashville every year. I love Nashville. Yeah. But the thing is, like me driving from Toronto to like LA would be like me in like a Yellowstone's 1883. Like half the people will die of old age on the way there. We're gonna bury them. We're gonna get attacked. We're gonna, you know what I mean? It'll be a whole separate, different group of people by the time we get to LA. No, gotta fly. Anyway, the point is that when we get to LA. We have an entire year to plan this whole thing. What I want to do is I'm going to set up some kind of a meet and greet with fans and friends and all that kind of stuff, and then do like an organized event. And I want to get it going so that we can have people there. We could do things, take pictures, talk to people, hang out, drink some beers, do Jello shots off of our butt cracks, whatever we're gonna do. We're gonna do all these kind of things.
Mag, that's already in place. You get there, trust me.
Yeah, a lot of that happens
daily.
Yeah.
It's just
no, I know, but we're gonna do ours is gonna be like just amazing. It's gonna be off the chains, man. We're gonna do it. We're gonna have it right, and then we're gonna have big billboards with our stupid faces over top, right? And we're with an arrow pointing down. It says, "You want to meet the coolest dudes in the world," and have an arrow pointing down, and we'll be standing underneath it.
It's just gonna be we should do that. It'll be a big billboard of Web Dave, and like we won't even ask him. We'll say, "Come
Web
meet
Dave,
Web Dave," and then he'll be like, "What the crap?"
Web Dave, I will burn that down with a flamethrower,
bro. Let me tell you about Web Dave. Okay, besides the fact that he fell asleep a lot, Web Dave came correct, man. This man had every piece of gear imaginable with his logos all over it, handing them out in the lines. This man did some networking this weekend,
and he did that.
Shout out to them.
That's incredible.
No,
skill.
Well, he was in a wheelchair. I was pushing him, but he did just fine. He did just fine.
He's a hell of a sleepwalker.
I didn't mind doing it either. Web Dave's so cool, bro.
It was weekend at Bernie's. Like he was riding an Uber with Fonz, and Fonz was moving his lips.
We just had the lanyards hanging off the arms of the wheelchair, and people just took one as he rolled by asleep.
As we joke, like sometimes it's so fun.
At Web Dave's, it works perfectly.
Weekend at Web Dave's.
Weekend at Web Dave's.
I say that, but honestly, Web Dave is amazing. Like the guy's so freaking nice, man. So freaking cool. I loved meeting Web Dave.
Well, then why don't we
have so much fun? But
year,
it can be exhausting, Mag. I often tell myself, I wish I did this when I was in my 20s, and doing this in my 40s, it's like, my feet hurt, like that sort of thing.
Listen, for all the people that are fire in the chat, let me tell you something, man. I could party till 7 a.m. We're doing that.
All right.
So we're going to be doing all of that. We're going to be partying it up, doing it up. And listen, I'm going to be dragging people from Australia, risk it for the biscuit. I don't care if he has to get on a raft. I'm going to make him go over there fighting off sharks in the waters with his little paddle. He's going to get over there. We're going to get Epic Treasure over there. We're going to get all these people over there. And we're going to get all of them are going to come to Maverick. I will see you there. Malik, you better be there.
Yep. We had Yodani Quezada there last year, and he was so quiet. I'm like, Yodani, speak. He was great. It was great. Like, to see these people in person.
You know what? Yodani's one of those cool collective guys that just stands in the background, just smiles
with his hands in his pockets,
women, you know.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what would have helped Web Dave? 4xpgaming.com, ladies and gentlemen. 4xp Gaming, if he had just taken a sleeve of white gummy, he would have been awake for the entire showcase and not fell asleep next to Tim Dog. And if everything would have been fine, and then we would have had a dual photo of Tim and Web Dave next to each other with their heads sleeping on each other's shoulders. Oh man, it would have been such a beautiful picture. I would have put some music in it, put it on my channel as a background before I do a live podcast.
Happy Bomb in the chat says, we met Risket at Fanfest. Yeah, we hung out with Risket for a good couple days. He was having the time of his life. Sean LeBrie says, Yodani was a ninja. The bro just appeared. Yeah, he just showed up, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, I'm here. It was great. I got a couple
like, who is this stud? I want to meet him. Oh, that's Yodani.
It's amazing. It's like a username materializes into a real person. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa. Purified Storm, thank you for the $5 super. Says, what the F was that, Xbox? Halo remake or reboot in 2026? Which one will be announced for 25th anniversary?
Yeah. What the hell happened to Halo?
I don't know. I'm not excited anymore.
I didn't hear anything. Okay, I didn't hear anything from I told you guys all of this chat in the chat and everything else. I told you all before the show even started. I said, I have heard nothing about in the show. So everything that Colt and I talked about last week was basically just us speculating and spitballing ideas. So none of it was like, oh, well, my source said that this, that, and the other. We did not say any of that stuff. All right. But I was completely shocked that with the fact that they've got 3 projects in the works, and nothing was said about any of them was quite surprising. At this point, I'm not going to say anything else. There's 2 things that surprised me. That, and the other one is Splinter Cell. Both broke my heart. And the other thing I'm thinking is that at this point, maybe Xbox or Microsoft, whatever, they talk about Halo at the Game Awards. Maybe they show a trailer there of something. But I was really surprised that there was not even a mention of Halo Studios or what they're working on. Very shocked.
I wasn't shocked because we heard some things beforehand, Colt, that they weren't going to say anything about Halo, show anything. The one thing I was shocked at
while you were there, you heard that?
No. I heard it beforehand. Anyways, now when it comes to State of Decay 3, though, I was shocked that was not shown. I was really expecting something from that team, especially with all the crap that they've been through and everything. I'm like, this is the year to actually show something, like, and nothing. And it really bothered me because I wanted to see it. I want to see how far along they are, how it looks, the gameplay really. I want to see how it's improved because I'm hearing that it's improved. Let us see this, like, get us hype. And nothing. It was crickets.
It makes me think we'll see the update in 2026, and that game's 2027. I think that Undead Labs has had.
How long has that been? Yeah, but how long has that been in
7 years?
At this
It'll
point?
be 7 years when it comes out.
That is insane. That is way too long for a game of that caliber.
Well,
in my opinion.
You know, I hate it when people do this, but we're all 3 of us are really looking forward to Wolverine, and Insomniac is. Insomniac?
Oh, don't get me started.
Insomniac,
you know what the rumor was this weekend about Insomniac and Wolverine, Colt?
What?
I kept hearing from so many people at tables I would frequent, and
Hooters.
Did you hear Sony canceled Wolverine? Did you hear Sony canceled Wolverine?
No, they didn't.
That's Meg. I know this, and every time I would hear it, I said that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's what I kept hearing.
That's just baseless nonsense. And
Wolverine would be like a 6-year game, but Wolverine will be a 6-year game. But Insomniac cranks out games in 2 to 3 years. So
I was gonna say, dude,
I don't believe for a second that Insomniac is having a problem with Wolverine. They're just the game's just taking a while. You got to get it right.
They released Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Ratchet
Spider-Man
and Clank
Remaster.
Ripped Apart.
Yep.
I won't even count Spider-Man Remaster. I'm just gonna count the actual games, but Rift Apart, and now Wolverine in one generation. So like, piss off.
Yeah.
You know what I
They'll be
mean?
fine.
There's studios that are like 9 years, 8 years in a. Let's not even get into some of these other studios. It's not a pissing competition.
It's
Like,
obvious that making a new game takes longer. Fable's taking longer. State of Decay's taking longer. Perfect Dark's taking longer. All of them. But
More on that soon. You remember that 2017 with Phil?
yeah.
They already had Fable in pre-production in 2017. So
Oh, you know what I told the guys that kept saying that? This is exactly what I said. I said if Sony was so concerned with canceling Wolverine, they would have already canceled Marathon months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the one they need to worry about. Because that again, the general consensus is
We haven't heard anything on that.
Certain Bungie employees, like there's Bungie employees that know that they're cooked.
Yeah.
They're telling people that. So
I'm surprised we haven't heard about them.
Web
moving.
Dave. Oh my gosh, Web Dave with $1.99. He says the untruth and slander. Laugh out loud. Next year we party.
All right.
We party like it's 1932, right, Web Dave? You're gonna go to bed by 5. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, we're doing a party, see? We're to the moon. Yeah.
It was funny. I made a joke with him about the Golden Girls. I said, hey, man, it's 4 p.m. The Golden Girls are on. Shouldn't you be up in the room? And as soon as I said that, he points over to Paris. Paris walks in, and he had a Golden Girls T-shirt on.
Oh,
Legit.
my
I was like,
God.
Well. No. Web Dave had to get out early because he can get that early bird special at the buffet, right? So it's half price for seniors at from 4 to 5 p.m. So he had to get there and then and sleep just in time for the showcase. So perfect.
I got attacked when I put up a promo of for my show. Picture of me with the the bomber jacket on. Colt's giving out late 90s energy. I'm like, that's me. That's late 1998 or that's me. That's all I am. I can't go forward any further. That was just 1998 energy. We got Boner Jam with the $5 super chat. Says, love the Peroni's disease support here. He says, I appreciate. Oh no, wrong support room. Hey Fonz, give Pinky my love. Blessings.
Who's Pinky? Who's Pinky?
Pinky in the brain, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea.
That blue number sends out a member chat. Says, OMG, my bestie Fonz. Shout out to that blue number. Appreciate you so much.
Holly. Yeah, we had a great time last year. Too bad you weren't there this year because it was a lot. I considered a lot more fun this year. Honestly, as much as it was cool to have a Xbox, funded, big, extravagant fan fest, I liked this more intimate community watch party a whole lot more.
Really?
It was just it was just nice to be among people that were excited and fun and just happy, positive. Like there was those people too at the Xbox Fan Fest, but it just seemed I don't know, better. It was better in so many ways for me.
May I ask a question?
Thank you, Preston. Preston says, I know you three guys have pretty good chemistry. Great show tonight. That means a lot. Yes. Thank you for saying that. Sorry, go ahead, Mag.
We love you too. We love
you, Mag.
Yes, thank you very much. Why didn't they do a live showcase this year?
They barely did last year's. I think that Microsoft just doesn't want to pay the money for it. And I think what Ben Kenobi and his team have done that Fonz was gloating and loving may have probably made them think twice. I hope it makes them think differently about what they're doing. They also said, we don't need to do it because we're going to do a 10th anniversary fan fest probably in, at the end of the summer. But Nerd says, let's blame Tim Dog. My good friend Tim Dog, I love Tim Dog, gave the showcase a 3 out of 10. I really have to.
Ridiculous.
There's so many great games. I find it interesting.
I thought it was easy a B. Maybe it's a B minus, but a B for me.
It's an A minus or a B plus on Jeff Keighley's poll.
Yeah,
and I scored it a C plus because of the dip in the middle of, I'll say this. I said this yesterday.
No. I gave it a B because of the ending. You never end with COD. Why would you end with COD?
Yeah, that was dumb.
That's like saying water is wet. Like, yes, I have to make it's coming.
I have to make another gripe because I have very few gripes about the showcase. I really enjoyed it. I don't like the down low spot that's like the obligatory stuff, but I know these teams need their moment. This is going to come off a little bit rude, but I love Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. And I like Sea of Thieves. I like those other two games a lot. But for heaven's sakes, save those for a post show. I know they have millions and millions of supporters, Mag, right? But I think
I know.
Almost all of those supporters would rather see that another time. It brings down the pacing of the show.
As soon as I hear the accordion playing, I know it's going to be a Sea of Thieves thing. So as soon as I hear, and I'm like, and I go up and I'm gone. And that's what I'm like, break. See you later. And then I go
You're going to grab a 4XP, right? That's what
I go to grab a 4XP. I got to go take a pee myself. And then that as soon as I hear the accordion, I'm out. And I'm like, okay, Sea of Thieves for the 9th straight year. Okay, see you later. And that's when I dip out. And then it's going to be followed by some other weird ass like, okay, there's a lighthouse jumping around. And I'm like, okay.
Hey, do not talk about Double Fine. I actually like Double Fine.
I'm kidding. Schaefer's one of my he is literally the Jack Black of the game.
I will say this about Keeper, okay? The Double Fine game they showed. They didn't show enough for me. But I have faith in Double Fine. I am a huge fan of the Psychonauts franchise, and Psychonauts 2 was my game of the year that year.
Psychonauts 2
tied for my game of the year.
It's my Xbox, specifically Xbox.
Oh, it's
my
so
Xbox
good.
game of the generation so far. I don't care what anybody says.
Psychonauts was amazing.
Yeah,
and so knowing the caliber of studio they are and what they do with some of these games, especially with Psychonauts 2, it blew me away with what they did there. All the different mechanics and stuff, all the different levels. I am not voting. I'm not saying Keeper is going to be a bad game in any way. I just need to see more. I think it looks cool. I want to see how this progresses, and I want to see the gameplay. I want to see.
I always say the Sosa. Sorry if that's just how I pronounce your name. Thank you for supporting every single week. Says it looks like a game like Journey. Not a fan of walking puzzle games. The graphics were cool. I completely agree. The thing that makes Psychonauts so great is the characters and the dialogue and the vibe and everything going on and the characterization of the world. And Keeper looks like it could be like a silent protagonist, and it's probably going to be really cool. And Double Fine usually makes really cool games, but
that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a freaking this amazing game that's coming out. It could be. I just need to see more.
And it's coming out this year.
It's
like late October or something. So that was like a really good reveal, which makes like the 12th game Xbox is coming out with. And I agree with
Dude, there are so many games coming this year, bro. So many games that we're looking forward to. I'm excited.
There was something else I was going to say.
Keeper will not be fine. It'll be Double Fine. Thank you.
Oh gosh. There was something else I was going to say about missing this stuff, but as a producer, as a quasi producer of my channel, and a fan that likes to watch these things, I just think that you could pull out a couple of games and say, stay tuned for our post show if you want to see even more. You could have, instead of having an hour and a half showcase, you could have an hour and 5 minute showcase that is absolutely just balls to the walls to the very end. But on the other hand, to be fair to the devs, like, they want that moment of being in the big showcase, and it's tough to rob them of that. But man, could that have been just an incredible showcase if some of those smaller games were saved for post show. And earlier when Keith Garlington was here, he said that there was a future game show thing that had other stuff. So that's the only reason why I scored it harsh. I gave it a C+, which I think is kind of rough, but
I gave it a B because I thought what they showed, despite that lull, and the COD ending. Oh my God, I just can't get over the COD ending. Because that game, initially it looked so cool, and I was thinking this was like a Edge of Tomorrow-esque looking game. Like, oh my God, this might be something cool, something brand new from Xbox, And then when you finally saw it was COD, Black Ops 7. I was like, that's underwhelming. Just because we know we get a COD all the time, like it's nothing special.
Yeah.
And those just one more thing should be delegated to something special, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people felt that room. I literally saw people getting excited and hyped for this game. They didn't know what it was. And when they saw it was Black Ops, they kind of just deflated a bit in the room.
Yeah.
You could feel that energy. And that was a telltale sign, you know, that
JV says a C plus, and I'm like, yeah, it does seem super low, but I think about changing that score, Jay, but I wanted to see an update of Perfect Dark, or I actually really needed to see more than just 18 seconds of State of Decay 3. But we didn't, and those games need more time. But there was just a couple of games that needed it, like Gears E-Day needed to be there. And it would have been an A for me. The lull was bad, and then there was one or two games that I think needed to have a showing. But I can't change that score because
I want you to imagine this though, Cole.
I don't want to see Gears E-Day or Fable before they're ready. I think it's the right move to wait.
You're right.
With Clockwork Revolution, they showed it when it's ready. Like, it looks amazing, and it has the glow up, and it made all the difference.
But the thing is,
I gave it. Hold on. One last thing. I would have given it a higher score, but I am not bashing this showcase. The showcase is incredible because I said yesterday they could have showed Clockwork Revolution and said thanks for coming, and I would have been, holy crap, that was awesome. So the pacing is just a little off, but man,
the C plus is not a bad score considering this. You have to consider everything.
I think it's kind of rough.
I knew they did not show. Listen. They did not show any of those big titles they have in the works. None of those big titles, and yet the show was still a C plus at the lowest score that I think anybody should give it. Most people are giving it a B. Most people are giving it a B. And
most people are giving it a B plus or an A minus,
show, dude, without Forza, without Halo, without Gears, without Fable, without all these games, Perfect Dark, I could go on and on. They've got a plethora of huge AAA big blockbuster games that they didn't show, and yet it was still a B. That's insane to me. That is a different Xbox than what we've seen in previous years, man. I go back to freaking 2017. That's when it was like all doom and gloom. You remember that was freaking horrible.
That was bad. That was really bad.
It was just so much better this time. And I despise all the fanboys that are out there saying, the show sucked, State of Play was better.
It did not.
No, the hell it was not. That State of Play was horrible. And if you want to talk about pacing, yes, you could get excited for the Marvel fighting game and everything they showed. But that deep dive into that was so freaking bad. Even PlayStation fans on their own channel in that chat during the live stream was saying, move on, we don't care, over and over in their chat. Their own freaking chat in that stream. Like, look, people, Xbox is not dead.
People who say that are so
fine. They are
they're so dumb when they say that.
Now we can say
it's the dumbest thing ever.
They don't do what they used to do. They don't compete on that same level anymore. They are a third-party publisher, yes, but their games are still speaking for themselves, and people are hyped for their games, and that is why a smaller show like this, without all those big blockbusters they have in the works, still got to be. That is crazy.
That speaks
You should be
volumes.
Excited for that.
Yeah, I did score it too low. I did score it too low, but I can't change my score. Like, why? It's fine.
You got to hold on to it.
I don't know. I gave it a C plus, but all I can think about is, like Dante said in the chat. Shout out to Dante J. Moody in the chat who said I gave it an 8 out of 10. Because he found 8 games in there that he absolutely wants to play. I probably found more than that, Dante, and I scored it too harshly. I really enjoyed it.
Shout out to my boy Wagerman in the chat, man. Alex was holding it down, doing all kinds of work for that. He's one of the guys that spearheaded this community watch. I'm gonna hit that over and over. These guys are amazing for the community. I'm sorry, what they did here was do something. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest. They embarrassed Xbox. They embarrassed Xbox. They embarrassed Xbox because they created something they refused to do this year. Gonna just say it. You know, shout out to Aaron Greenberg and Jason Ronald and some of the other team there at Xbox that came by to watch it with us. They are real community members that have the passion and drive for this community like no other at Xbox. I appreciate what they did there. But Microsoft, you were embarrassed this year for stopping that Fanfest, because what these guys did was incredible. Nothing short of incredible for a first time.
Yeah.
These guys knew nothing of how to create an event, and they brought it all together. I could
That's
not be
good to
more
hear.
proud, and I was so positive. And you know me, the Mr. Negative guy, right? Oh, if you talk to anybody in this chat that saw me this weekend, saw how happy I was with only 3 hours sleep, it's because the community made me feel that energy and sense of belonging. There was lots of love. It's just amazing. You guys don't understand until you go and experience something like this. It was
Yeah.
flat out amazing. So
That's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I looked up what a C+ is out of 10 points or out of 100, and that means my score is a 7.8 out of 10. So I guess I can live another day. But yeah, I got a sideline real quick. Gaming lifestyle in the chat. This is a personal question. Seriously, how old are you? Like seriously, like I want you to write how old you actually are. Just like nobody knows what your real name is. Just write how old you are. It will speak volumes. We are sitting here on this podcast, Mag, Fonz, and I, and this amazing chat. We're talking about games. We're celebrating the expansion of how we play our games, how many amazing games everybody has to play. And this guy is writing about console sales and sales figures. I mean, if that doesn't scream stuck in the 2010s more than anything, I don't know what to tell you. The amazing Wagerman in the chat, who is an unassuming man that we met last year and that Fawn's been talking about all night. He's a super chat. I'm going to read this one out of order here because shout out for all his hard work with the amazing Ben Kenobi and the rest of the team, Dante, Hargeet, Fonz, so many people. Sean Labrie, I don't want to miss everybody because I wasn't there. I'm living it from the outside. Wagerman, thank you so much for the $10 super. Says, hey, Colt, missed you there. Next year for sure. I understand the lower scores, but for me, it's a solid B+. I had 15 games I loved. I'm going to add, probably I did too. Fonz, you're the best. Appreciate you. Let me read a couple more
I
here.
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fonz. God Emperor Sofa King, thank you for the chat. Says Game Pass with High on Life 2, day 1 on Game Pass day and date. Absolutely. Nerds Another Legend of the 5 says, shout out to Soil Tech for putting the moves on Sarah Bond and then grilling Phil Spencer in the middle of the hotel lobby. Sarah Bond is such a cool person. She is her personality is explosive. She's awesome. And
She's got such an aura about her in real life. She's just a beautiful person. I will say that.
Yeah.
I have my God, is she a beautiful person.
yeah,
Just
my wife and I
amazing.
talked to her for probably 20, 30 minutes at the Xbox Mixer in 23 and just talked to her. And she's just talking 100 million miles an hour. I don't know how she does it. She must be take 3 of those 4 XPs, Mag, at once. Like, she has so much energy. Chip GM, thank you for the super, says, what would you rank from best to worst for the showcase this week? I'll have Mag
Shut up,
score
Dante.
this one.
Shut up, Dante. Stop it. Stop it.
PlayStation Showcase, Xbox Showcase, Summer Games Fest. Mag, how would you rank the showcases you watched this weekend? What's
Be
the
very
lowest
clear
one?
with this. The lowest one was the State of Play. I gave it a C. The only reason why I gave it a C is because there were 2 games on there that I was interested in. One specifically was the Silent Hill F game that I can't remember what the hell the other one was. It shows you how memorable it was. But
What
I
about
remember
you missed it because you were not here? Were you excited about the Marvel Tokon game?
No, I'm not excited.
What
about
was
that
the
at all.
other State of Play game since you've been?
It's driving me nuts. There was another one in there that I'm like, yes. No, sorry, that was
I'll look
that was
for you.
Summer Game Fest. I was getting it mixed up because when I'm on the road and I'm watching this stuff on my phone and I'm walking down the sidewalk or I'm doing this or I'm doing that, like, it's so hard to keep track of what was shown where. But either way, I would say the State of Play was a C. The Xbox Showcase was a B-, and I think that I would have to rate
I know why.
the Summer Games Fest was a B. It was a smidge higher for 2 reasons. There were 2 games that really stood out to me. Obviously, Resident Evil 9 for the Summer Showcase was the big.
I knew it.
show
I could
stealer.
hear it from
I mean,
over here when they showed that from you.
Dude, They even had Lady Dimitrescu come out there and do like a little intro for the 30th anniversary that's coming up next year. They also had the president of Capcom come out and say, listen, we got something special planned for the 30th anniversary, which I am all about. And then, of course, they trolled the living hell out of everybody by not showing anything. And then they waited to the very end of the show to show you Resident Evil 9. The other game, chat, hear me out. There's another game. There's another one on the Xbox side. They showed was called Chronos. Did you guys see that?
Yes,
Chronos:
yes.
The New Dawn?
Yeah. Yes.
That looks dope as hell. I don't care
Yeah.
if it's not coming to Game Pass or whatever. It's a game that looks dope. I don't have to sit there and go, is it coming to Game Pass? I don't care. It's awesome. That looks
same.
awesome. So hopefully it works out really well. The other one is they showed at the Summer Game Fest, which I thought it was incredible. Guys, this might have been my game of the show for new showings. You know, I couldn't think of a different word. It was a game called Ill.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring it up
remember this
earlier.
one?
That's the creepy
It's just
baby
called-
one, the creepy doll one, right?
It's just called
Yes.
Ill. ILL. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there going, bruh, what the hell was that? That was possibly the most ingenious artwork. Did you see the artwork and the creature design in that game? And the thing, you could shoot off half a face. You could see like the teeth, like from the jaw as like the buckshot took off
Looks
the
like me.
skin. Or, dude, you could like take out a kneecap and the kneecap blows off and then the leg buckled and broke. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is this game? And it just looked amazing. It's called, folks, if you don't remember it, it's called Ill. Licensed to Ill.
Ill.
And
Zucker
it
in the
looks
chat says,
amazing.
"What the was that?" That's an old RDX joke that we would say like every 5 seconds. Shout out to Zucker in the chat. He says that Clockwork
Taylor, you
Revolution
remember that?
stole the whole weekend for him.
Hey, hold on a second. Dealer, you remember that joke from RDX? No. Yeah, okay. All right, I'll bring you some sausage and some water later, okay? All right.
Bring him
dude.
a baby Ruth.
I just talked to Dealer today, or texted with him. Yeah, he's good. He's
Yeah,
good.
he messaged me
I didn't-
yesterday. Yeah,
That was my phone. Sorry, I was answering you.
this is prison.
Because I only allow him to have the phone for 30 minutes a week in the dungeon.
How dare
Oh.
you?
Yeah, so it was me you're talking to.
Yeah, I won't tell you what Dealer's impressions were for the showcase. That's a private matter. But yeah,
Soccer, how did you get an F? How did Soccer get an F word in the chat? Unbelievable. Everybody, I can't even say dang, and I get and my
oh my gosh,
held for review.
Meg, you're killing me.
World premiere.
You're killing me. Oh my gosh, you know what? It just absolutely has to be done. Absolutely has to be done. Did Gaming Lifestyle ever say how old he was in the chat?
I don't know. I don't even know.
The Happy Bomb
hidden
goes,
by
I can't mod a mod, so Soccer is like has immunity.
Colt, I can't. Yeah, I know. We can't find out how old he is. You
Just hit him. I'm just
has
done.
immunity, I
Like,
love it.
you hit him.
Baby
guys,
carrots for life.
Fonz,
Hey.
Mag, like this whole chat, you guys are amazing. 99.9% of you are just freaking loving and joking and having a fun time talking about games. That guy is sitting in his own stool, crying about the console war numbers. I just
You know
just
what's
can't,
funny about
I can't
this?
do
You
anymore.
know what's funny about this? That is what's so special about going to community events and stuff every year is you get all that love and everything that you're getting in this chat, and you're not getting that guy. That guy is not there.
He's not there.
in
He's
his
at home.
basement. He's not allowed to go out.
It's actually Malik's fault. He started all this.
I know he says
He's
I was
not
egging
there,
him on.
Malik,
Oh.
knock it off.
Everybody say hi to Zocker. You know, we're gonna try and get him out to the event so
Hi,
I can put him in a
Zoc.
chokehold. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll bring some feta cheese and some Kalamata olives. He'll come flying. Yeah.
Hey, that's racist.
You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do? Perfect. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put some spanakopita in the end of like a fishing hook, and I'm gonna throw it out there and reel it in, and watch Zocker come flying right in, and then he'll walk right into the bar, and then we got him, and then he'll be
Dude,
there
one day. Well, I mean, we've been in party chats for 7 million hours with Zocker, but one day, like his grandma walked in. His whole family is like, they're actually like, if you had a brochure of Greece, that's them, right? And Zocker starts speaking because English is his second language, and he was speaking in Greek. And Dealer and Fonzo and I were like, "What the crap are you doing? What you sound like you're you're conspiring against to destroy the world."
Yeah, you should hear me when I speak Italian. I freak people out too. Yeah.
But yeah,
Colt, I gotta read Biff
these.
Rinaldi's member chat. Please let me read it.
Biff.
Oh yeah, go if you've got it, hit it,
please.
Yeah.
You hit him too. Jesus, guys, Colt is on a tear tonight. He's got to be stopped, ladies and gentlemen.
I said, hit it. You
hit it. I thought you meant hid it, and I'm like,
no.
Jesus,
I said,
Colt's
go
out of control tonight. That's it. See, gaming lifestyle. Look what you did to Colt. He's turned into a bad guy. Anyways, Biff Rinaldi, member for 26 months. He says, "Don't understand why Mag is so obsessed with the lady from Resident Evil. She looks like a less feminine Marilyn Manson. Mafia is my game of the weekend, dude. Do you hear me out? It's not the actress I'm in love with. It is Lady Dimitrescu I'm in love with. The character who doesn't look like her. Have you seen Lady Dimitrescu with the outfit and the oh my god, and the dress and the hat?
Everybody's seen it. Yep.
Like, come on, bro. That's what I'm in love with. Not the voice actress. I just liked that the voice actress was there at the show doing a little talk or whatever. But I actually would have preferred it like jazzed up as Lady Dimitrescu, because Lady Dimitrescu is like the she's knees. She's amazing. But
I agree.
Anyway.
Oh man, the kink that Mag has, it makes me super comfortable. I love it.
Dude, I want her to stomp me with her heels on.
Oh my gosh. Here
because
we go.
she's 9 feet tall.
Like the heel just goes in and hooks your mouth.
I just wanted to smother me, and like I want to die in like her arms for real. Like just that's it. Like just smother me like a pillow that you do to an old person in a mafia movie, and just put it over their face. Just do that with another part
he wants to get cutting crude. That's what he wants.
He wants to get
dude.
Like guys, men are simple creatures. We just want them to smother us. We don't ask for much. That in a good Xbox game. Yeah.
Possibly to death. I'm just saying. You know. Anyways.
It reminds me of the gif of SpongeBob with the shadow coming over him. And he's smiling. Yeah.
We're talking about the shows and what we rate the shows, you know, what order we put them in. Mag, you said top was what?
Oh, look at Fonz bringing it back.
What was
the top was
show?
Summer Games Fest.
Bottom?
Summer Games Fest. Was Summer Games Fest, but only by a half a point. And it was only because there were a couple of games in there that I thought that were really hot, and I know they're third party. I thought that Death Stranding 2 was the most ridiculous reveal. Like,
yeah, that was not a good trailer. That was not a good trailer.
What the frig was that? He sat there and smoked. Well, he was about to smoke a cigarette, and the lady's like, "No smoking." She's like, "You don't remember me?" And then they cut it off, and then they're like, "And what just happened?" And I'm like, "What the hell was that?"
Kojima was talking about, I'm in the middle of editing the new trailer for the Summer Games Fest. And I was like, oh yeah, hype, 50,000 likes or whatever. And then he was like, that was it. And I liked it.
It was just a couple of those. Like I said, it was a couple of those games that just pushed it over the top. Like I said, Resident Evil was the big one. And it's not because I'm just a Resident Evil stan. It's because it literally was put together so well that you go on YouTube right now and you could literally watch dozens and dozens of Resident Evil 9 reaction videos, right? And when you have a bunch of those, that means that you nailed it, because that means that people are like, holy crap, I gotta go watch this. And then they have audience reactions, watch party reactions, whatever reactions. And if you've got dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of those just flooding your YouTube feed, you did something damn well right. You went viral for that. And by going viral for that, I gave you the extra point.
You know what?
Because that's what you're trying to do.
I can't disagree with Mag. I'm in the same exact boat with the game shows. I gave them both a B for Summer Games Fest and for the Xbox Showcase, but I have the Summer Games Fest just slightly above because of the way they ended it compared to the way Xbox ended it for me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I thought they ended it much better with Summer Games Fest. They both had that lull in the middle, but the other one brought it up much better than Xbox did. State of Play was complete garbage in my opinion. I'm sorry. I didn't like 90% of what they showed. I didn't care.
Yeah, Pragmata looked really good in the beginning.
Pragmata is the only one that I'm interested in, but I need to see more. And besides, we've seen Pragmata. We saw it 2 years ago. Like this this game is nothing new. It didn't show me anything in this showcase that I hadn't really seen before, besides some of the stuff I didn't care about to begin with. So that's why it's last on my list. But
hey,
yeah,
Zocker,
that's how I would
in the chat says, I hate myself, but I legit love the handheld that Xbox showed. It's exactly what I wanted from them. And I'm sure he's saying I hate myself because he didn't expect, like I did, for this handheld to be impressive. I didn't think it would be cool at all. And I was shocked. Like, it actually is really, really nice. I wish I could actually see one myself because
coming
from
Zocker, who says Steam Deck or nothing all the time.
Right.
Like,
sure.
Yeah,
I thought that the
Steam
handheld was a very impressive reveal. I thought it was a great trailer. They showed exactly what it did, what it does. It did like the little graphs and all that. And I thought it was really well done. And I was like, wow, that was really nice. I was better than I expected. I didn't expect it to be that good, but back to reality, it's going to be the price. But anyways, the showing was fantastic.
It was,
in my opinion.
Papa Baco, thank you so much for the super chat, $20. We appreciate your support. Says just your put to the legend Fawns. Great to see you on the show, brother.
Shout out to the shout out.
Shout out to the legend Fawns. Great to see you on the show, brother. Oh yeah, hit that like button, chat. Show these fellas some love for all they do, please. Thank you so much. And these guys do work really hard when they're making their content and being on shows and running shows. And yeah, thank you guys so much.
I'm going to take us back down to reality here. Desert Cruiser in the chat here just said, is this a retirement home podcast?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
We are.
Oh, dude, you might have one of the best comments of the entire evening. You made me laugh out loud. That was really funny. Thank you.
This one cut me
deep.
deep. I have a 22-year-old daughter and almost 22, and she said, "Dad, I love you, but you're just old." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "You always tell me something that I already know, like." Yeah, the sodas are in the fridge right there. And she's like, I'm literally going to get one. I know they're in there. And I'm like, how does that make me old? But like the look she gave me when she said it, I was like, oh, because that's the last thing I want to be, is to be like Web Dave. Web Dave, we have to bring him in on a dumbwaiter.
The other thing is too that I'm not concerned about. And I know people say to me, they're like, well, dude, who's going to listen to a 50-year-old gamer, this and that? I'm like, 50-year-old gamers.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a lot of us.
There
is a lot of us.
There's a lot of us. We started in the arcades, bruh. Okay? When you guys are sucking on strawberry, what the hell they call it? Vapes. We were smoking cigarettes.
They were not allowed. They were not even alive then. So.
Anyways, all joking aside, when I'm 55, there'll be 55-year-old gamers. Millions of them. When I'm 60, there'll be 60-year-old gamers. Millions of them. There's always a market for us because we're aging with the demographic, right? So there's always going to be some, like Howard Stern. 15-year-olds are not listening to Howard Stern now, but he's got 65-year-old listeners who've been listening to him since the 80s. And so he will have those people. He will not have the youngsters. They know of him, but they don't sit there and listen to him on Sirius XM. Right. And so but that's how it works.
Your analytics will tell you who listens to you. My demographic is mostly over 40.
Mine is
35 to 40 something.
Over 40. Yeah, me too. I checked mine. Preston 61, you old dog. Love it.
Oh, what do you say? He gave his
age is a state of mind. Oh wow.
You just said I'm 61.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's a weird thing, this whole aging process to begin with. I mean, like in my mind, I always feel like I'm 21. I don't know. Then my body's like the next day, like, no, you're not 21. What are you doing? Like, stop. But in my mind, I feel young. And that's all that matters.
Magnum's 15. That I don't doubt for 1 second. When we go to when we go to the bars in LA next year for the Game Fest and all that stuff, I'm going to make you wait outside. I'm going to tell the bouncer, be like, that guy's 15. He's not allowed in. Actually, by next year, he'll be 16.
That guy is a fake
by
ID.
Next year, he'll be 16. Yeah.
Zocker says, my demographic is age 0 because I haven't made a video in a year like a fraud.
Yeah, well, that's without question. Yeah, you can have a McLovin ID.
David Merrifield, thanks for the €2. Says, great podcast. Best wishes from Ireland. Awesome. That is so
I'm kind of the same way, Mag, like you were talking about the whole bar scenario. I'm a big jokester, and I try to like mess with people here and there when we're all hanging out. And this weekend, a Wagerman was sitting there on the couch. Alex, shout out to you. And these kids walked up. I say kids, they were probably 21, who knows, but they looked really young. They went up to him asking about something. They were like developers or something. They were talking to him, and I walked up to him and I go, "Hey, you guys looking for weed?"
Oh, jeez.
I said, they looked at me all crazy. And then I looked down at Wagerman and I go, "Well, you did go to the biggest dealer in town." And he's just like, "What?"
So funny.
And they were just laughing hysterically. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was funny.
David Merrifield, my wife is Irish, so
awesome.
cheers to I'm kind of married into the Irish, even though I'm Italian. But my children are gonna grow up Italian Irish. That's gonna be something else, man. Yeah, watch out for my daughter.
It's gonna be a real big problem.
It's so funny when people say they're like, "Oh man, you're gonna be really worried about your daughter when she's a teenager," and I'm like, "Are you kidding, bro?" I'm like, "My daughter's Irish Italian. I'm worried for the guys. She's going to leave like bodies. Like she's gonna kill people. I'm not worried about her. I'm worried about what she's gonna do to them." And I'm going to have to cover for her and get rid of those bodies. There's only so much lime dust I can buy from Home Depot, for Christ's sake.
Before they start asking questions, yeah.
Christ.
Differnality says, thank you for the super. He goes, "I always say I'm physically 40, emotionally 14. Yeah, physically I do feel I'm all right. I'm good with it. I am good with it. There's a couple other games I want to cover. I know we're going long, but there is a couple things. And Meg, I know you've been traveling and you can when you want to bank out, you can bank out.
I'm pretty much going to in the next couple of minutes here because I'm pretty spent, bro.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a weekend. Yeah.
By the way, Colt, you did not say anything about some of these games that were shown. Like, did you not like Beast of Reincarnation? That looked really good.
I'm looking
by
at
the
them right
developers
now.
that did Pokemon.
Now hold on a second.
Pokemon devs, man.
Hold on
a second.
It
Can
is?
I just say something that?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a Nintendo developer, or generally Nintendo developer.
Yes.
Can I say something that maybe the chat may agree with me? Zucker, I'm not turning into Dexter's dad. I'm not doing,
accurate.
Listen,
accurate.
I'm not doing. I know I'm not doing the Code of Harry. Okay, I'm a huge Dexter fan.
Man.
Can I ask the chat this very quickly? Is anybody else, because of Elden Ring, is everybody else getting a little sick and tired of all these showcases? Like every third friggin' game is a Souls game.
Nope. I want more because I'm
getting a little tired of it, man. I mean, it looks fantastic. They look great. They show well, and then I'm like,
they're like most of the games. He's not wrong. It does seem like
no, I know, and I'm getting a little fatigued with almost every second or third game at a showcase is a Souls game, and I'm like, oh my god, just because one sold 25 million copies from the studio that makes the ones that sell tens of millions of copies.
Well, I mean,
not
Black
everybody
Myth
else
Wukong is kind of in that thing, and it sold amazingly. There's been some
it's sold amazingly because
I think this
doing
is
well.
the perception you have because you're too many people are going around using the word Souls-like when we've had this genre for many years. I mean, this is not,
of course,
this style of gameplay is nothing new. Like FromSoft didn't make this genre of game; they just made games harder in the same genre. And it's like everybody runs with this Souls-like thing, but not every game is truly Souls-like that we see that looks Souls-like. Matter of fact, a lot of them have difficulty sliders. So
really,
some of these games have difficulty sliders. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't consider them all Souls-like. I love these types of games. However, there are some that I don't like, and it depends. Like, how linear is it? How open world is it? We got to know more about this game. But anyways, what I've seen from this game, I think it looks cool. I'm down to check it out. And it's a big developer that usually, like I said, makes Pokemon games, and it's crazy.
Fonz, I know you're just a guest on the show, but when you say developer on this channel, you have to go developers.
Developers.
If you don't say it that way, then I'm sorry, you're gonna have to leave.
And Colt, you never said anything about one of the games you love, Grounded. Grounded 2.
That was my next one. I was going to ask a brief opinion from Mag, and then I'll let him do an outro if he needs to go, and then we'll cover the rest of them. Well, in fact, actually, I won't because I should just really talk about Grounded briefly. Meg,
go for it, buddy.
Bro, it's great to have you back, man. It's good. It's
yes.
it's great. It's, I don't know, it just feels good to have you back. And I mean, you were only gone. You weren't really gone, but it just feels great.
Gone. I didn't miss anything.
The
only thing I missed
was
was
a stream I did yesterday. Yeah, I did.
I know you did a stream with.
Yeah.
With
that punk
Gaz. Yeah, well, I was gonna call him something else, but I don't want to do that on the air. Get you in trouble.
Are you going to do some post showcase Summer Games Fest content on your channel this week and tell people where they can get that and all that stuff?
Yes, I will do something. I'm a little torn about it because I don't want to. At this point, everybody's seen so many live streams and shows and live reactions. I don't want to be that guy that shows up 3 days later because I didn't get to do it. I was supposed to be. I was supposed to do something on the weekend with Mooch because he invited me to do a live reaction with him, and I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And then I couldn't do it. I'm like, then I got called away for the weekend, and I'm like, well, crap, I can't do anything. So I missed all the showcases live. I had to watch them several hours later. I finally got home, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just leave it as a watch, and then I'll start fresh this week and just do whatever. I had a couple of big videos last week that hit really hard, so I'm okay with all of that. A couple of them hit over 1,000 per video,
nice.
Whatever. And it was really great. Well, you know what's funny, though? What's funny, I'll say this one last thing before I go, is that there was the video I released exactly 10 days ago that said Xbox Handheld canceled. And it wasn't this one. It was the one that we were talking about, the internal one. So about 6 minutes after the showcase ended, I start getting all of these notifications saying, you effing fraud, you blah, you're a liar. And I'm like going, what is happening? So I scrolled down, and it wasn't the same people that watched the videos. These were new people. And I literally went back there. And so what I did is I'm like, so one of the guys I said, he goes, I've been waiting for this or this and that. And I'm like, so I responded to him exactly like this. I said, you literally waited 10 days to say that you think you had a gotcha moment on me.
These guys search.
Did you watch the video? Because actually at the 3-minute 11-second mark or whatever the hell it was, I'm like, I literally say that the third-party handheld is still coming this year and it will be announced at the Xbox showcase.
They look at a thumbnail. They Google it. They're like, they go on YouTube and they search and Xbox handheld canceled, and then just go to the comment section.
Right, and so if you actually type in Xbox cancel or whatever on Google, my video shows up. Mine and Dreamcast guy here. So my video and his video showed up. Yeah. Hey there, gamers. Dreamcast guy here. In today's show, we're going to be talking about this control right here. So anyhow, what I did is I went in there, and I've done a few shows with him. He's actually a very nice guy. So anyways, I went there, and so I responded to those guys, and I'm like, hi, did you watch the video? Because if you watch the video, it was a dedicated handheld being worked on by Microsoft that I was talking about, and about the 3-minute mark, I actually say that the third-party handheld is still coming this year. I said, please pay attention, and thank you for watching my video. So about an hour later, I wanted to see if anybody responded. 3 out of 4 of those comments all disappeared.
Oh, nice. So at least they owed up.
They erased their own comments. And then one still remains, but I'm like, whatever. So it was kind of funny. But anyways, the grifter. Malik, stop it. Anyways, I just wanted to say, hi there, Dreamcast here. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Anyways, I got to get out of here. But listen, you can find me on the Mag Show. You can find me here on XNC on Colteastwood's channel. I'll let these 2 old dogs get back to it, and then I gotta do some unpacking and get to bed, and I'm back to work tomorrow. So, anyways, everybody have yourself a great night. We'll talk to y'all soon. Go check out the Mag Show. I will release a couple videos this week. I got some information that I'm working on and some other stuff that's coming up in the future. So, either way, I'm also going to be doing some live streaming this month as well. I'm waiting to see how Mindseye turns out. If Mindseye turns out at least a 7 and above, I'm going to buy the damn game and I'm going to stream it on my channel.
Just like us, that's what me and Cole said.
Yep.
But it's got to be a 7 or above. If it's a 7 or above, I will absolutely, guys, I absolutely love you. Mwah. Look at everybody in the chat saying hello to me and saying appreciate me. Love you guys.
They're just saying get out of here, Mag. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're like,
they're telling you to F off.
I will stream that damn game. If it's a 7 or above on Metacritic, you got my word. right here live on the show. Then later this month, I'm going to be doing a Web Dave special where I'm going to be sleeping because I'm going to be streaming Death Stranding 2, and I think that's going to be the funniest stream ever because it's just going to be me walking around for like days. So I think I'm going to do that too, just for some laughs. We shall see. But anyways, everybody have yourself a great night. Stay magnificent. We'll talk to you.
Thanks, Mag.
Look at that, Malik. Go after yourself, Malik. Leave Mag.
Sub to Mag's channel, you guys, and tell him thank you. All right. There we go. It's just me and you, Fonz. We got a ton to cover still, but yeah, Talos says there's a lot of clowns out there. Yeah, so I want to talk about Grounded, and not a lot of people like Grounded or have played it. They don't realize it's one of the goats. It's amazing. It's like an 83 Metacritic. I love the heck out of it.
Even though it's not my type of game, I still had some fun with it with you guys. I remember playing some of that stuff with you and Dealer. I remember we went into that cave and that big spider was in there. I started screaming like little girls running out. Get out!
Yeah, it never got
that
old.
Was a good time.
I played it for 400 hours with my kids and I would scream like a girl when the wolf spider would sneak up on me.
But you actually built a lot of bases and all that stuff. Like you really put a lot of time.
It's amazing. The new one, you can ride ants and spiders. You can mount them. There's just going to be a lot of stuff you can do. So that was just a surprise that's coming out at the end of July to early access. And the map is as big as the expanded final version of Grounded 1. So that was a big moment for me. Seeing, Marky goes, oh my gosh, dude. 400 hours. Yeah, we played it in early access. We played it up until it was almost released.
Colt,
and then we played
I
all
can
the
attest that
content
Colt
after.
really loves that game. He played a lot of that with his with his kids.
Yeah, it's
so.
And Dante says, bro, we're playing, bro. Yeah, Dante and I played it together. I played it with Hargeet. I played it with Xbox Obi or Obi, one of our friends with Dealer. Yeah, tons of people, but my kids and I just lived it. So yeah, Grounded 2 was a big reveal. I hit up the community manager. I said, congrats to your team, because I played with them on stream for their Grounded stream. I've met the devs over the connection on a chat. So it was amazing. Mm-hmm. So let's see what else we got. Fonzie Wanzi. What about this Aphelion game? It is the woman with the orange spacesuit. She's like falling down ice things. Like, the reception was pretty cold when I looked at the chat, and I don't know if you remember this. She's wearing like I do remember it, the
spacesuits.
What the heck?
The reason why I think the reception was cold is because you didn't know what the heck was going on, and you don't really know what the gameplay is really like in this game. And I think that's why. And plus, it had a specific art style that was that semi-cartoony look. It doesn't really look realistic, and I think
stylized.
I think that some people probably looked at it as, they just don't know what's going on, and they've never heard of it. Of course, it is an announcement, so. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. We need to see more of it. I think that's what it boils down to. So we need to see more. It's just not enough.
Some of these we'll kind of gloss over quickly. There are no ghosts.
Somebody in
at
the chat
Grand.
said it looked like a Death Stranding type game, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to think of it.
Who knows?
I perused the comments when I was kind of trying to figure out. There's this big video project that I've got cooking up, and I was looking for some hidden gems to build in this video, and Aphelion didn't seem like one of them I would include with the caliber of games that I've been putting together. There's another one called There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, which kind of mixes a
stylized again.
Yeah, it's got quirky graphics, but it's kind of like a power wash simulator thing. I don't know, it's weird. Like, you vacuum up stuff and you place it.
This, I believe, was a Game Pass game, right? This is going into Game Pass.
Yes, I think so.
There were several of them going. Well,
I was talking to That Blue Number, and she was saying that it looks like it could really be like one of those runaway, like, cult, like, hits, like that people could like.
Dude, you remember when Power Wash was like a big hit at first? Like, everybody was playing that. It was crazy. So many people was playing Power Wash.
I don't know. I don't know. This could be one of those games that just hits a certain audience and kind of goes a little mini viral. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's going to be on Game Pass. It'll be one of those, well, I'll give it a shot, as we say. Mudang Two Hearts was probably one of the most impressive, like, what the crap. This is your, like, Splinter Cell from Korea type game. Like, it takes place in North Korea. It's like North Korea versus South Korea. It's Splinter Cell. It's Division. It's, I don't know how to explain it. Do you remember it, Fonz?
I don't.
Mudang Two Hearts. I don't know if you can pop open a
Delio. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up while you're. Yeah.
Well, in fact, I
Mudang Two Hearts.
I might be able to throw it up on the stream thing. Let's see,
Okay,
right here.
stealth action. Yeah, I do remember this now.
Gameplay 2.
It looked okay.
No,
I don't
can't
think
get
it's necessarily my thing. I'm not huge on stealth. Like,
Does it say it's
games
stealth?
that rely heavily on stealth. Yeah, stealth action thriller. It says.
There's a lot of
set modern
a lot
day
of third-person
Korea,
shooter and shooting, and kind of looks
tactical
like
stealth.
yeah,
Visceral combat. Yeah, I mean, it depends. If they focus a lot on stealth and they have missions where, like, oh no, you saw me, I got to start over. Like, no, thank you. But if you can just, like, stealth in a mission and they see you and they're just like, okay, now you got to fight, I'm good with it. But I loathe games that do that. Oh my God, you gotta walk through this area without being seen. If you're seen,
everybody hates
you
that.
start over.
Thank you, Udani. Have a good night, bro.
Who likes that? Because a lot of games still do it. Who likes it? Somebody does.
Splinter Cell reboot's going to do it.
Oh, dude.
I don't know. I think it looks cool, and Gaz was really impressed with it. A lot of people said that Mudang Two Hearts has been shown for a little while.
Yeah,
Planet
Mudang
Lana
looks
2.
good. It looks good. So,
Planet of Lana 2, I didn't play the first one. I know everybody loves it, so fans are really excited to see it again. I don't think you messed with it, did you?
yeah, I didn't play it, but Wagerman, shout out to him. He played the first one. He loved it. As soon as he saw the art up, he goes, "Oh, that's Planet of Lana," and he just was like, "Yeah, this game's great. You need to play this," And so he's into it. There was several people in there that was hyped for it. So it's a game that a lot of people like. Not every game has to look realistic to be a great game. I prefer more photorealism in my games, sure. Like, I like good-looking graphics and stuff. But there are those outliers of games that come out that is just a smaller game that doesn't look that good, and the gameplay gets to you, and it's just like, oh, this is really good. Like, this is fun. So it doesn't need that, and it could be very well a fun game. And so
It's really well loved, the first one, so this one will do amazing.
for sure.
There's another game called Anemo, which was like the oh my gosh, Nintendo is going to sue these guys. It kind of reminds us of our old classic Disney when you and I got into Power World at the beginning of last year, and absolutely just like we're hooked on the most Disney game we've ever played. I don't know if you remember.
I remember playing Power World, and we started to build those because you could build your houses and stuff and bases. I remember building a tower and saying, I wonder how high I could build this tower. You could build it pretty damn high, like all the way up into the clouds, bro. Like it was insane what I did. And I did it for nothing, just for, the giggles. I was like, oh, I just wonder if I can do it. And I did it, and I jumped off, killed myself, and I said, okay, that's it. Ran around, got all the freaking pals, and I beat that whole game. I freaking got 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements in that game.
You did, and I didn't finish it. I played it 50 hours with my son, and I loved it for a long time. But this Anemo visually looks 2 times better than Power World, like graphically.
Really?
And
so? Let me see.
Oh yeah, if you're able to click it and watch it.
Yeah.
Let me try something. I'm not sure. I don't think it lets me go back and forth. But I
definitely agree. It does look a lot better.
If I go to this, where is it?
But will it be
Showcase.
as big and as grand as Power World?
There
Power
it is.
World's pretty huge, dude. Like,
okay, I'm gonna scrub this back. Yeah, Power World's huge, but I'm gonna scrub it back to where you first see the visuals here.
Nintendo's gonna sue these guys too.
Yeah, but look at how nice this looks. For those of you who are watching the show live, hit the like button if you're here. We appreciate you. Yeah, this game visually looks really sparkly and more pleasing on the eyes. But it looks like you definitely do
Much.
catch creatures or critters.
Better catch them all.
Bro, I don't know. I did not expect to like Power World. So seeing this, I'm like, hey, this is another game I got to give a shot
Dude, we
to.
didn't expect to like Enshrouded. And how much time did we put into Enshrouded?
We'll have 80 hours a piece or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you got like almost 100 or maybe even 100. I got 85 or close to 90 now because we played the other night. But dude, like games like that have their place. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are. Let me see if I can go to the next one. I don't know how. It'll probably be a little wonky here if I do this, but I was frustrated that we saw so little of. Oh, it actually worked. I was so frustrated that we saw so little of Gears Reloaded. Like, I took the trailer and edited it down yesterday, Fonz, and I think it's like 16 seconds of gameplay was all we got out of this 2.5 minute trailer.
Crazy about that? So I was recording reactions, in the room for everybody, and when that first came on, I think everybody thought it was E-Day because they were going nuts. And then when they saw the graphics, they were like, "What?" Okay.
But the models, the character models look really improved. When you see Baird's face, like right there.
No. It does look
so
improved. Awesome. But at the same time, it was very anticlimactic because we knew this was going to be shown.
I don't think I'm going to play it again. I think I might just load up and do like a mission or two and then.
Yeah, we talk all the time about nostalgia. Like, we love these games, right? When we played them back in the day, we absolutely adored them. But going back to play some of these older games, for me anyway, I'm speaking for myself, it's tough sometimes. It's like, this feels kind of dated. Or when I start to remember what the mission was about and what I'm going to be doing, and oh yeah, then this happens, and then yeah, maybe I'm not going to play this. Maybe I'm just going to put it down. And usually what I do is like, kind of like what I did with Oblivion. And Oblivion is my favorite freaking Elder Scrolls game of all time. Oblivion more than Skyrim for me. But with this remaster, kind of almost remake, I felt that way. I was like, I started to play it and I said, man, this looks good. It feels good. But then I was like, oh, I remember what I got to do. Yeah, I
don't want to go do all that again. Yeah, I gave up on Oblivion too. I wish I wouldn't have. And going back to it is just so, it's impossible for me to load that up and like settle back down to get back into Oblivion.
But what's great about these games and when they almost remake them is the fact that it's for new audiences, especially, it's amazing. They get to play these games for the first freaking time. They get to feel exactly what we felt back in the day. Yeah. And for that, I love that. I love that for them. I love that for them.
I love that. What about, we got Chip GM with the $2 super chat says, great show, guys. Nice to put a face on Fonz. Did he, I don't know.
Obviously, I've never been around, the YouTube scene. I don't show my face. Yeah, I do.
You've been on camera at least, I don't know, 6 years.
Longer than you.
Yeah,
longer than you, Colt.
Yeah. What do you think about Invincible? This Invincible game. We don't like fighting games, but
no, I don't hate fighting games. I will dabble with them. Matter of fact, I just don't play them like I used to. I'm not competitive in that way.
Yeah, not either.
For me, my favorite fighting game of last gen was Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct was awesome. So for a game like this, Invincible, it took me by surprise. I did not know that, because I liked the TV show. I just did not know.
Did you tell me the behind the scenes reaction about this game?
Oh yeah, I posted it on my channel.
Yeah. Okay, so tell everybody.
Reaction to it.
Tell everybody what you were told before the showcase.
Yes. So no, it was after the showcase. One of the guys from Xbox, I forgot his name. Sorry, he's not like the well-known guys to me anyway, like Aaron or Jason or, but he's somebody that from Xbox. And he there were several of us there talking to him, and he goes, the one thing that really shocked us here at Xbox, it was the reaction to Invincible. We did not expect people to react in that way, because people were going nuts for this game.
Like they thought Invincible would be kind of like, hope it's cool.
Kind of just like, people were just like, okay, cool, next. But no, people really loved what they saw. I liked it. I thought it looked cool. But I told him at that time, I go, well, Invincible is huge. Like, dude, that's like a cult Phenom thing right now. Everybody's watching that show. Like, it's a really good show. And so to have that reaction, it was kind of natural to me. I thought it was something that would happen.
They also told you that it was kind of...
When they first saw the game, it was rough. And they said that, so when they first saw it was rough, but they've come a long way since. That's what he said. So, and
now it's looking like really, really slippery and shiny and good. I love the visuals.
Yeah, Khalif Adams had the best reaction to this game. He jumped up out of his seat, ran past the screen, walked back, was just throwing his arms up, just so happy, so hyped, because he likes this franchise. And them doing this was just like a highlight of the show for him. So he asked on Twitter, but he was like, did anybody get my reaction? And Woggerman said, yeah. He clipped it from my channel, showed it to him, and yeah, he loved it.
That's cool. Yeah, it's really brutal, violent, and bloody, and mature, like, which is good to see on Xbox's showcase, like a wide variety of...
He's like, it's good to see blood. I love blood.
I love blood. I love it. Just love it, love it, love it.
Love it a lot. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me go to the next one. Final Fantasy. I won't play that one. We talked about Keeper. I think...
Dude, it's so funny when they showed Final Fantasy and everybody had that crazy reaction. I did not expect it. I was blown away by the reaction. I was just recording, and I was like, whoa. And everybody was jumping up, going nuts. I mean, if they had popcorn in their hand, it would have been all over the place. I just know it. Like, it was crazy. But
did you guys have snacks at the watch party? Like,
yes, Woggerman provided the snacks.
What did he provide? I'm always talking about food.
He provided the lardations. He provided the popcorn. There was several different types of chips. You had energy drinks. You had not 4XP though. He did not have 4XP.
Okay.
He had some other off-brand stuff. I don't know what they were. Somebody said it tastes like an Arizona iced tea. So I didn't have it because there was way too much sugar in it. It was like 26 grams. I was like, oh no.
I have partaken in the sugar as of late. Yeah.
You got to get rid of the lardations, man.
BT Maverick says donuts, drinks, chips. Yeah, donuts, huh?
Bro, water, so much water. And like, we had all kinds of stuff.
I know, you told me that Web Dave came in carrying 2 cases of water at the same time.
And he almost he's like, I'm like, Web Dave, what are you doing? Grabbed one of them for him because it was just too much. But anyways, Web Dave fell asleep carrying that water. That's what was dangerous. It wasn't that he couldn't handle it.
Dante in the chat, he can carry 2 cases of water in one hand. That's how beastly he is. Yeah.
Dante's freaking, he's muscular, man. That guy had freaking 3 cases on his head, 2 in his hands.
And 1 in his back pocket. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
And I owe him some time on Division 2. We've been so busy. He left to go do showcase and all these nonsense excuses. But, yeah, a C+ on the showcase. That's not a very fair score when I look back at things. There's some really good stuff. Maybe there's like Invincible looks amazing. But it's not like a game I love. But man, I cannot dock some of these games that I might not love, but dang, did they still look impressive. We are so spoiled right now. It's unbelievable.
That's why I said at the beginning of the show, you have to understand that we did not see those big games that we know is in the pipeline. And these are games that are much on a smaller scale, but still excite gamers. And it's still getting a B average from most gamers. That is impressive for Xbox. We have not seen Xbox do this with their gaming lineup in years, man. Like, they're hitting on all cylinders right now. And that's all it's about for me. I don't care about the whole third-party publishing thing and all that. What we need to relax and focus about is the games. And are they delivering? That's it. And it seems like they're delivering. Why argue about anything else at this point? You're not going to change anything.
We are getting so many games. Like, I've said it so many times, I would rather have it the way it is now because there are so many games that I'm excited about. And there were times when Xbox had exclusivity and I'm like, I don't care about that game or this game. And it's like, things are so good right now. And I know PlayStation's going through problems, and we did a show like 3 or 4 weeks ago about how they're really in a bad, dire straits right now with their 2/3 of their studios have canceled their games. But Xbox is making games for them. They're making games for PC. They're making games for Xbox. And these are games everyone wants to play. After watching Summer Games Fest, after being excited about a quarter of the games at State of Play, and like half of the games at State of Play and Showcase that I have to play. Bro, it's amazing. One of the things I was going to do on the show tonight was like talk about the rest of the year and what's coming out and looking into 2026, but we've already done a 3-hour show. Like I couldn't do it. We would literally turn into the Crypt Keeper. There's so much good stuff to talk about. We'll save it for another show.
You know what? It's we've had such a good time here. It's just flown by because I didn't even realize it was that long.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was about an hour and 20 minutes. Like that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we're at 5 minutes to 3 hours, and chat. Thank you chat. Audience, bros and hoes. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You really make the show. We say it as much as we can, and we wouldn't do it without you. Yeah, you can't do that. And Fonz, having you on has been so awesome. I'm so glad that you had an amazing time. I can't even state how great of a time Fonz had on his behalf, because he was just gushing to me on the phone for 3 days straight.
There was just so many cool moments, but honestly, like shout out to Ben and Alex and Hargeet, Ains, Dante, Sean, Ray, those guys allowing me to help them make something there. It just really, I felt it, man. It was just such a great energy, a great positivity thing that I really needed. And it was so amazing. And then to meet all the people that love Xbox and just love gaming in general. I'll just say it that way. And them lining up. They started lining up at 6:45 a.m. Colt. 6:45 a.m. We didn't open the doors till 8:45, and these guys are already lining up to come in to something that was just a ragtag idea of like, hey, Xbox ain't putting on a Fanfest, but the community will. And that's why I said earlier, they embarrassed Microsoft.
Yeah.
Because they did something for the community that they couldn't. And like I said, just the intimacy and the way everything was done, the way it was laid out, the feeling, the energy, everything in that room, it was so much better than a better of a time than I had last year. Sorry, but it was just that good.
That's awesome.
And I love hanging out with people there. And that's what it's really about. Like, that's why when Mag was saying, hey, we'll do like a fan thing where people can come up to us and do, bro, that happens on the daily.
It's
just
already
being out there
occurring
with everybody. It's just a natural thing. When you go to LA and you're there for all the festivities, not just the Xbox showcase, it's a whole thing. It's a whole vibe. There's people there that just want to be around other gamers.
Yeah, when Mag said that, I was like, he has no idea what it's going to be like to be there.
No idea.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Like,
everybody congregates at one spot all the time. You will see all the big wigs from everybody from Phil Spencer down to frickin' Dreamcast guy. No, Dreamcast guy's not there. I'm just playing. But you will see everybody.
We stood right next to Jason Schreier last year as well. So there's lots of people there.
Yeah.
Andy from VGC is a great journalist that I respect and love reading their stuff. You get to meet a lot of cool people. And BT Maverick says I had a blast.
You get to show people your true self as well. Like, people always have this misconception of you. You talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But when they see you in real life and they see how you act around people, it speaks volumes. Like, everybody can see how you are, and it just feels good that people see you in that light, the real you. And it's amazing. The feeling is so good, man. Hanging out with guys like Soil Tech and stuff, Web Dave, it's awesome. You guys
only 365 more days.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I implore people out there, if you're a fan of gaming, it doesn't matter if you're an Xbox fan or not. If you're a fan, I implore you to try to get in all the festivities that happen there, including the Xbox showcase, because honestly, as a gamer, as somebody, if you like to talk to people, if you get out of your basement, if you ever leave your basement,
Yep.
you will have a good time, bro.
It's so
you will
worth
have
it.
a good time, people.
Yeah. Nerds Are Legend says, go socialize, people. It's good for the soul. It really is.
It
Thank
really
you,
is.
everybody, for being here. This is episode 205, I think. Yeah. Shout out to everybody who helped contribute to the show and make it what it is. We appreciate you. Go sub to Fonz. If he'll write something in the chat right now, you can click that link and go sub to his channel, where you'll get a look at some of his behind the scenes stuff from the showcase, and check out his podcast that runs every Saturday in the afternoon. If you're in the US, it runs about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, depending on when you need to move things. His podcast, I want to say showcase, his podcast with Hargeet Shawnee.
Games Talk Live every
Talk Live.
Saturday.
Yes.
Yep, 4 p.m. West Coast.
Also, thank you everybody who's supporting me. It's been a quiet month as the storm brewed for showcase with content. I've got 2 major videos brewing. I just wrote one today. So watch my channel for some really, really cool content I'm going to be making. We appreciate all you do. We're going to get out of here. There's Fonz's link. Go hit the sug. The
sug. Go hit the sug and then hit the suds and take a bath.
Hit the sug. I'm just may make things out of clay. Thanks everybody. We're out of here. Fonz,
Had a
appreciate
great
you,
time.
bro. It was a good time.
Later.
Hit the like button. You slime balls.